everybody. Let's see what you guys are up to. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's pop on our other live. Turn this up a little bit. Hey guys, we're going to be doing Ask Me Anything, which means it's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. So, let's see here. Oh, here it is. Welcome, welcome. Let you guys pop one in here. Get cozy while I open up my other cam. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's see. Let's switch to my other channel. Welcome, guys. We're doing Ask Me Anything. If you just hopped in here, let me know where you're watching from and let me know what time it is where you're watching. Let's see what you guys got. We're going to do a live Q&A. You guys can ask me anything. Meanwhile, I'm setting up my other live. Ask me anything. Done. All right, and I'm going to pop in here. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, guys. Hop on in here, everybody. Hop on in here. We're just getting ready to get started. It's time to ask me anything, which means it's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. So I'm just going to hop in here and get my live going. I probably should have brought my computer in here. That might work too. Welcome, everybody. We're doing live Q&A. It's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. And you guys can hop on, ask your questions. I'm going to take any question in the whole wide world in the chat. So let me get comfy here and let me log into the question center. Hold on one second. I'm taking your questions live if you just hopped in. Give me a second while I log into the questions. 1 second here. Oops, there it was. All right, let's see what's up. All right, got it. All right, welcome everybody. It's your chance to ask me anything. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to get comfortable. Whoops, before I knock down everything. And then you guys can go ahead and start popping your questions in the chat. I've got my questions loaded. I'm ready to go. You guys can pop your questions in the chat and then I'm ready to take your questions. So it's your chance to ask me anything. So go ahead and start lighting up the chat. Let me know where you're watching from and let me know what time it is where you're watching. I've had myself kind of an interesting busy day. Welcome. I'm doing Ask Me Anything. So it's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. So I got my question button loaded up in here. We'll see what you guys have on the list of questions and we will take it from there. Let's see what's going on. Meanwhile, what a day, y'all. It's been an interesting one. What a day. Welcome, everybody. We're doing Ask Me Anything. It's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. Everybody, go ahead, hop in there and let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what time it is where you are watching. And I'm going to start taking your questions one after the next. Just go ahead, load up the chat. Everybody hit the like button at the same time. Tap, tap, tap on this screen if you're on that screen. Over here, I need you guys, everybody hit the like button at the same time so that the stream goes out, because Ask Me Anything is only good if you guys have the questions, because I'm not going to put the questions in the chat. I'm not working that hard. I already worked this week, so I'm just here answering questions. I'm not gonna put the questions in the chat. So let's see what kind of questions you guys have. Go ahead and flood the chat with your questions. Not only that, I see y'all in the chat. Go ahead and hit that like button so we can get the stream out to everybody. And if you're on this stream, I need you to go ahead and tap 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 so that people get the chat. All right. And let's see, depending on how this chat does, I might switch it out to a different platform. So let's see what you guys are up to. If you guys have questions, I'll go with it. If you guys kind of get quiet over here, then I will switch it out. All right, let's see what's up. All right, we got questions. How was my week? My week was exhausting, if you really want to know. I had the longest week ever, and yesterday I literally just went to sleep. I went to sleep. I woke up. I had all these intentions of doing interesting things, and I was just like, I went to sleep, woke up, talked to my brother, and then ate food at night, and then went back to sleep. I just went right back to sleep. So yeah, I did absolutely nothing, is what I did. And sometimes, y'all, sometimes that's what's required. Everybody, go ahead and pop your questions in the chat. It's your chance to ask me anything. So go ahead and fill the chat with your questions. Let me see what's going on over here. Let's give my folks over here on this stream a chance to flood the chat with their questions. It's your chance to ask me any question in the whole wide world. Y'all better take advantage of all this free game I'm over here giving. Let's go. Let's see what you guys are up to. Let's see what you guys are up to. Let's see. Or if y'all gonna be, are y'all asleep at the wheel tonight? Let's see what's going on. See if y'all are sleeping like me. Cause last night I was out for the count, so you couldn't ask me anything yesterday. I was like, oh, I should go live, but then I was like, I'm gonna have one of them sleepy lives where I can't even like do anything with the video. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Let's see, folks. We are live on we're live doing Ask Me Anything. So go ahead, flood the chat with your questions. Let me know where you're watching me from. Let me know what time it is where you're watching me. And we'll go from there. Let's see what's up. Let's see. Earlier today, I ended up doing a live earlier today, and I talked all about content creation. So that was interesting. I was giving free game on content creation for people who like want to get into it. So that was actually really good. I'm gonna have to go cut those videos. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that earlier one was some really good free game. That was some free game right there. That's the stuff that 4 years of working in the content creation, somebody got lucky. Somebody hit the jackpot. But yeah, let's see what you guys are here talking about. Ooh, first question in the chat. Yeah, guys, it's time to ask me anything. Go ahead and pop your questions in the chat. Go ahead and flood the chat with your questions. When I say ask me anything, I legitimately do mean you can ask anything. So it's your chance to ask questions. And whatever you put in there, I mean, I'll answer the questions and I'll answer them my way. So you don't have to clean up your question, just spit it out and then I'll take it from there. So everybody load up the chat with your questions. And then depending on how this platform over here is doing, I might switch this one out to a different one. Let's see. Let's see if they get active or if they stay quiet on that one. If they stay quiet, then I will switch it out to another platform. All right, let's see what's going on. How does one switch from a sedentary lifestyle to an active lifestyle? That's question number one. Question number one is all primed. Everybody continue to load up the chat with your questions. I got my question list over here. So every now and then I'm going to be looking over there at the questions, but you guys go ahead and pop your questions in the chat, and I'm going to take your questions one after the next. First question in the chat was, how does one shift from a sedentary lifestyle to an active one? Well, that's a good question. I think it depends on where you're at mentally, because part of this is mindset. Part of it is physically moving the body, and part of it is mindset. So let's tackle the two different ways of leaving the sedentary lifestyle. If your thought is, I want to get out of this lifestyle, but I'm having a hard time getting started, because that, procrastination thing is a real thing and it can affect people in different kinds of ways. If it's the getting started thing that's the problem, then my solution and suggestion is try to put as few barriers between you and the activity as possible. So for instance, if you are new to starting to get moving and you've been sedentary for a while, don't make it a big deal. Make it a little deal. So don't say I need to go for a mile walk. Don't even say I need to walk for 4 hours. Don't do the stuff like that. Instead, what I want you to do is put such a mini small goal that you almost think that's kind of like useless. Almost small like that, because this is really about getting you to do the thing. It's not about making you do it for a long period of time. It's about getting you from nothing the to the routine of doing, because that in itself is a result. So for instance, for me, sometimes I might not, I always want to go for a walk, but I don't always have time. That's just the reality. So a lot of times what I'll say to myself is, in the past, I've always thought 1 hour or longer, 1 hour or two. Sometimes I would do 4 hour walks, but I literally ran out of time for all that. So a lot of times my brain is wired to say a walk is only a walk if it's 1+ hour. What I've had to do to my brain is rewire it, because if I don't have, let's say I'm busy, I don't have 1+hour, because if I'm trying to hit the gym, if I'm trying to finish up work, if I'm trying to like cut a video, guess what? I don't have 4 hours, and I don't even have one at that point. Especially if I'm still trying to get to the gym, get back, and cut a video, that means I don't have 1 hour. So then this is what I want you to tell yourself. For me, going around the corner is about 12 minutes. It's about 10 or 12 minutes. If I'm walking a little bit slower, it might be like 12. If I'm walking faster, it's probably more like 10. So I'll just tell myself, we're not going to do a 1 hour walk. I'm going to just go do 2 times around the block. That's at most 20 minutes. Generally speaking, 20 to 24 minutes. Usually it's like 20 minutes if I'm walking a regular pace. That's basically, or I might even tell myself just go around once. If I tell myself just go around once, I will oftentimes at least do twice, because I'm already out there at that point. It breaks the habit of just staying stuck. It gets you out of, and think about it. For me, when I say get out of the sedentary thing, I say get out of it by making the activity as accessible, as close to you as possible, where all you need to do is put on sneakers and do it. Literally walk out the door. I mean, you don't even have to go drive, perhaps. So if I want to go walk in the neighborhood, I don't have to drive. All I need is my sneakers. All I have to do is literally put them on and get out the door. That is a really short route between me sitting on the couch and me getting out. It literally stops me from just sitting on the couch. It gets me out of the house and out walking. So if I can tell myself, just do 2 laps around, and then you're done. You don't have to do it 1 hour. That will get me walking. And 9 times out of 10, once I do even 1 lap, I'm out there for at least 3. Most of the time, I never end up just doing 2. I always end up doing 3. So make the goal even smaller. And what I realized is, so a lot of the procrastination that we have, it comes from thinking about not even just sedentary lifestyle, but in general, the procrastination around any old thing. I realize is it's in the getting started. It's not in once you're in motion, like physics takes over. The object stays in motion. It's the getting started, and a lot of times what's going on in our head is we're not getting started because the first thought is it's too big. So a lot of us who struggle with procrastination, the first thought that comes to our mind is not that we don't want to do it, it's that it's too big, and we look at the practicality of what time we have. And in our head, we've mapped out that a walk is not 10 minutes. It's not 20 minutes. It is an hour plus, and then I think about my schedule, and then I think it's impossible, and then I don't do anything. So the person who procrastinates often, this was me, by the way. I finally broke it, but this is me. That's why I know this so well. I'm not pointing you out. I'm calling myself out. But for the people who procrastinate, if you can change your mindset around what it means to begin and what it means to complete a task. So a lot of times we'll think about cleaning a room, for example, and we'll get overwhelmed with cleaning the room because we look at the room and be like, that looks like a week's worth of work. And we're not thinking that all I need to do is not finish the room. All I need to do is finish folding those clothes. And not even all of them, just the towels. That's my only goal. Those towels will take me 15 minutes or 10 minutes and sometimes 3 minutes, right? All I need to do is just fold those towels. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to clean the whole room. I'm not trying to tackle the whole room. I'm trying to tackle those towels right there, right there. That will take me, and that if that goal is something that takes 15 minutes or less, that's your goal. If it's something that's going to take all day, all weekend, all week, that's not the goal. That's not the goal. So take your sedentary lifestyle mindset, and I want you to remove the idea that I have to do my exercise for 1 hour plus. That's the first step into removing the barrier. The second step is thinking to myself, if I just put my sneakers on and I go someplace, where can I just literally put the sneakers on and go? And I don't have to make this fancy. I don't have to like get in the car. I don't have to drive 30 minutes or 20 minutes to the gym. You have to break it by making it as easy as having the snack is. Like that's how you get from sedentary to active. And it doesn't have to be that you're hiking tomorrow. It just has to be the smallest little thing, and like brushing your teeth, the smallest little thing every day. It doesn't need to be the hour. That's where the paralysis comes in. That's where we don't achieve anything. But if we can just say 15 minutes and that's it. I've used that to break every stagnated thing in my whole life. I don't even at this point try to say I'm going to take on all of this thing. I say no. Like I say I'm just going to do edit one video because I know I can't edit the whole 3 hour. You guys realize how long it takes to edit videos? I can't do it all. I can't go live and edit videos. If I'm going live all the time, I never edit a video. It's as simple as that. So I just say I'm not gonna edit the whole thing. I'm gonna cut one video. And a lot of times what I'll do after I go live, like today's live, if it's an hour long, let's say it's an hour long, I won't even say I'm gonna cut the video. What I'll do is I'll wait for the video to become high definition. Once that's done, I will take that video and I'm like, I'm not gonna cut a video today. I'll just say day one, I'll just say, I'm just gonna prepare the video. I won't even say I'm gonna cut a video. I'm just gonna upload the video. I'm gonna put it in my software. I'm gonna set it up to where it's all ready to be edited, but I'm not editing the video today. So just the fact that all I need to do is prep the video, upload it, put it in my video editing software, set it up, put that computer, up on the desk. And then the next day I say to myself, all you gotta do is edit one video, just one short. That's it. One short video. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's 30 seconds, 15 seconds, or 1 minute. Then you just do one. When I do that, I get it done. And nowadays it's all coming together differently because I've changed my mindset on what's the goal. Because I have these big, lofty goals and I don't have that much time. And I thought I would have all this time after I got out of school. Guess what I realized when I got out of school? I have absolutely no time. I have no clue how I did school. I don't know how I did that. I look back and I'm like, I don't have any time at all. Where did I get that time from? How did I even do that? God. That's how I did it. Everybody hit the like button really quick. Everybody tap, tap, tap if you're over here. If you're over here, I need you to hit the like button. Everybody hit like at the same time if you haven't already. And flood the chat with your questions. We're doing Ask Me Anything. If you just hopped in there, we're doing Ask Me Anything. Come on, guys. I see y'all in here lurking. Hit the like button. Even if you're not certain, just hit the like button. It's not gonna hurt anything. Trust me. All right, let's see the next question. Next question is, how does one go on a vacation on a budget? Very good question. I feel like number one thing with vacationing is I feel like people have these lofty vacations in their head of like going to Europe and going to Hawaii and going all these places. I will just say myself, there's no better vacation than the one that's on a budget that you can get to rapidly. That is the best vacation. The one where you like a weekend trip, those kinds of like vacations are actually really good. Firstly, think about like in your local area, a place that you haven't navigated to. So for instance, I live in Atlanta. I could just drive an hour on the other side of Atlanta and I can venture off into something I've never done before. In fact, when I get a little too introverted, sometimes I'll challenge myself to do something that I kind of don't want to do just to get myself out of that stagnant mindset. So I would just say, you can use your like, think about what do you like to do. Number one, don't spend time doing stuff that you don't think you really like necessarily, but look for places that are within a 3 hour radius that you can drive to back and forth, or drive to, train to, bus to, because that's already going to be easy to get to, easy to get back. Um, think about places that are within a 3 hour distance. Maybe something where you could drive there, do it just for the day, and drive back. If you can take out the overnight stay, then it might be something that you can do really, really cheap. So think about that. And then you just research things in your local town. Like if you go and research in your local town what things they have in your state that are state attractions and tourist attractions for your state, you'll probably find some things that you've never touched before that you would only do if you were, you know, toting around new friends or family that are visiting. So there's usually something like that in every state that you could do. And then a lot of times you could just cross a state line and do something new. Like, Tennessee's not far from here. I've never even been to Tennessee. I've never been to Memphis. I've never done any of that. So if I ever wanted to go on a cheap vacation, I could go do all the jazz, the this, the that, go eat some food right there in Tennessee. I could drive there, do it, and probably drive back in the same day. So if you avoid the overnight things, you're probably going to save money and be able to do it all in one day. Now, mind you, you need to be rested up. So you need to be rested up Friday night, start early Saturday, do it all day, come home late on Saturday, right? And then Sunday, rest again, because vacations are no longer fun when you're just exhausted. The other thing I would say is look at your credit card. If you have a credit card, look and see if you have free points for a free overnight stay someplace. That's a nice way of like, okay, now I have a free overnight stay. Where do I want to be with that overnight stay where I can use it? Um, so, American Express and all those different things, a lot of credit cards will have something there. You can also just look and see, they usually, if you do like Groupons and different things like that, they'll have things that you can do that, so many percent off, so many dollars off. And then if you're into, user generated content, UGC, then you could pitch an idea to a hotel and say, hey, if you guys give me a free hotel stay, I would love to provide you with video content, that you can use in your, however you want to use. You could map it out. It's a financial thing, so it's good to have a contract for this. But you can map out and say, hey, I'll give you my video. You can use it for your page, or for $500, or you can say you can use it for your page and you can use it for advertisements for 3 months for a total of $1,500. Not only would you be getting the free hotel, they give you like the $1,500. You actually there making money, and all you do is go out on the beach, do some video of yourself looking beautiful on the beach, give it to them, collect your $15, get the free hotel stay, go home. Call it UGC, user generated content. All you got to do is use your cell phone. That is ultimately what those lifestyle content creators are doing. Just FYI, you don't need a big following to do that. You don't need any followers. You just need to pitch the idea to like the marketing representative of the hotel. Is that the real Johnny Chang? Just curious. If so, what's up, Johnny? All right, let's see what you guys are up to over here. The next question on the chat, and for those of you guys who just hopped in here, we're doing Ask Me Anything. Is your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. Everybody knows I normally talk churchy things, but when I do Ask Me Anything, it's for everybody. Some people are believers, some people are not believers. So ask any question in the whole wide world. All right, let's see what we got here. The next question is a food pyramid an accurate model for the well-balanced eating diet? You know what's interesting? I haven't looked at the food pyramid since RFK Jr. changed the guidelines. What I do know, what I've heard, I've been skimming. I haven't been all in it deep. So far, I'm happy with what he's done for changing overall healthcare here. I will say that. The next thing I'll say is what I do know that he changed is he's removed a lot of the sugars and carbs and brought that lower on the food guide pyramid. And he's increased like this idea of eating whole foods, and kind of remove this idea of we need so much pasta, rice, carbs, and grains and sugars. He's kind of put that lower and said, eat more whole food. Ultimately, that's how I lost 26 pounds in the last year. Is I've been eating whole food, carnivore, cutting carbs, cutting sugars, and controlling insulin spikes. That's how I've lost weight. So what I had just finished doing what he started promoting. So as I came out of carnivore and I lost like 20 pounds at that point, I noticed that's when he promoted eating whole foods, eating meat, real butter, things like that. He was promoting that as I had just completed a cycle and had success. So I can 100% say what I have seen, which I haven't been watching everything very closely because I'm busy, but from what I have seen, what he said about it seems accurate and good. So I'm happy with what I've heard that he's promoting more whole foods, meats, butter, things like that. I eat real butter. I eat real meat. Today I didn't eat any meat. I'll be honest. Today I ate black beans, eggs. I didn't eat. I ate some nuts. I had my vitamins. I ate 2 cookies because actually I'm losing a lot of weight. So now I'm like, okay, you better eat some cookies, girl. You don't lose all that junk. You better go ahead and get some butter on those cookies. And I ate some butter. I actually threw some butter on my plate because it's a balance, y'all. Like at one point I was getting to, and now I'm getting to. But what I say is it's working in general. I'm not having to work for it. The weight is just doing what the weight does. Now I'm skinny. Now I got skinny people problems, okay? A year ago I had fat people problems. Now I got skinny people problems. I consider that a win still. All right. Let's see. What do I recommend for people who are new to following Jesus? Good question. What I recommend is here's what I think is at risk. Welcome, y'all. For those who are new to following Jesus, I would say this. The risk is once you start following Jesus, a lot of people go through their legalistic phase where they're like, they got conviction, they came to Christ, and now they're like trying really, really hard not to backslide. And that is important. It's important to plan your life as such that you're not constantly transgressing God. I will say that. Well, I'll also say at the same time is that when we're saved because of what Jesus did for us. And we're saved by grace through faith. We can have moments where we make a mistake and God doesn't throw us back because we made a mistake. The idea is actually to repent and return back to the Lord. That's actually the idea. So I want my new believers to think about the fact that Jesus already died for us when we were at our worst, lowest, horrible point. He died for us right then and there. And now we're just learning to walk it out. And God is so loving. He's walking this out with us. He doesn't want us to walk alone. He doesn't want us to walk powerless. He wants us to walk in power. And we don't have that power. We get that power from Jesus. So for the new people, I think that's the biggest risk is feeling like too loosey-goosey, like, oh, Jesus loves me, I can live my life however. That's one end of the spectrum, and that is completely ridiculous. And then there's this other end of the spectrum where you feel super saved, where you feel like you have to do the work to stay saved, where you feel like if you make any mistake, that you're going to go off to hell immediately. Like both of these are not fully accurate. We have to remember that the reason why we have even had the revelation that we had been stuck in sin and that we needed to be saved. We have that revelation because God put it in front of us and opened our eyes. So we can't just out of nowhere love God. We love God because God loved us first. That's how come we love God. Otherwise, we can't love God. Everybody go ahead, tap over here. Tap over here. Folks over here, go ahead, make sure if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. we're doing Ask Me Anything. It's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. And I just don't like how I'm sitting here. I just don't like it. I'm trying to get used to this room. I was in this room already doing other my makeup stuff, and you know how it is. You see, I'm just not used to this room. I'm just not. It's a good room. I love the room. I'm just not used to filming in here. So everything just feels. My cameras are in weird places. I need to get another. Yeah, I'm already looking at equipment that I need to buy. Y'all, I don't know. Maybe God keeps me with good money because He knows all she's gonna do is buy more equipment and serve me. He might be thinking right now. He might be thinking right now. Let me get this girl some more money so that she can buy some more equipment and serve me more. Anywho, all right. So the question was, what do you recommend for people who are new to following Jesus? That's the question. Everybody hit the like button if you're over here. I see some people have not hit it, so go ahead. You can do it. It doesn't cost you anything. For those people that are over here, go ahead and tap that window for me. If you love me, go ahead and tap it. If you don't love me, tap it. That works too. So if you're new to following Jesus, what I would tell you is don't fall into the common traps of thinking, I must be perfect or He'll throw me back. Actually, God's not going to throw you back. When you're truly saved, you have the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit has a couple of different jobs. He's gonna guide you. He's gonna teach you. He's gonna convict you. These are things that are very important. And why does the Holy Spirit do that? The Holy Spirit does that because whenever you get too far from God, the Holy Spirit's what's reeling you back in and getting you to run back to God. That's the Holy Spirit's job, He's not gonna like convict you of your sin to shame you and then throw you away. The whole goal is that you never become separated and apart from God. So the Holy Spirit understands that you have some seasons where you're under turmoil, where you're under attack, where you might be struggling in some way. And He's there to like reel you back in on that fishing pole. He's going to reel you back in. That's the job of the Holy Spirit. So when you do something wrong and you feel conviction, that's good because it tells you that you have the Holy Spirit. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel a thing. You'd be just like dead in your sin, like you were before you got saved. You're able to do whatever you wanted and not feel a thing. But the Holy Spirit's going to make you feel some kind of way about doing a thing because you're going to lose your peace. And that loss of peace tells you, run back to God. That's what it's actually there for. It's to get you to run back to God. So for the new people following Jesus, there's this risk that you'll do something, because we sin all the time. You'll do something that's off. And when you do that off thing, the biggest risk is you could just run away from God and hide, which is what Adam did. And it's what we commonly do when we do something wrong, is we feel ashamed and we just want to hide. But number one, I want you to run back to God with it. Bring it before Him. I just did a video on this. I think I released it last night, where when we do something wrong, I recently had a sin. I know, perfect little me. I recently had a sin, and this thought came into my mind that I should like fix it, but I don't need to talk to God about that. I just fix that, right? And I immediately remember that this is the enemy planting a thought in my head to keep me from having that closeness with God and sharing with God, having a real talk with God about what I did, how I felt, the fall, having that fall talk with God. God wants us to have that fall talk with Him. He wants that because He wants to steward us through this thing and pull us out of that thing and help us to not go back to it. So when you try to do it without Him, what happens is you're doing it of your own strength. And in doing that, that's where the risk is, because then if you're doing it on your own strength and you fail, guess what? It's all your fault because you were doing it. You failed. Now you should feel ashamed and now you can be thrown away, right? But when you're doing things and you're powered by God, God's going to continue to power you. He's going to continue to encourage you, much like a little kid who is just learning to walk. When you stumble, your parent doesn't like spank you because you stumble. They're just going to be like, hey, You okay? Dust yourself off. All right, let's try it again. God's going to be doing that. He's going to be cheering you on when you have those little stumbles. So I would just say, consider that when you're a new Christian is there are these two different sides, and we see it all the time. I mean, when I got saved, I was on the legalistic side. You can go back to my earliest content. God had to do a thing with me because at that time I didn't have a spiritual I didn't have proper spiritual support. Like I was new to the faith. I had a church, but I didn't really have someone who was like, monitoring my content at that time and giving me feedback and helping to make sure that I was doing the most out of the gift that God has given me. I didn't have anybody like helping me steward my platform at that time. I have that now, but I didn't have that in the beginning. So the Holy Spirit had to do it all, and I had to learn some things the hard way. And I'll be honest, that was a huge thing for me once I realized like how much work I needed to do to have the right approach and the right heart of love and to not be so legalistic. It was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to start all over again. I was like, man, in my worldly mindset, it's like I looked good when I podcasted, but I don't really like my word that much. Now I'm like, I don't put nearly as much effort into looking good, but I love the word. There's a season for everything. So I would just say there's these two opposite sides of the totem pole. You have to like really be in the secret place, pray, and understand the risk. The risk when you first get saved is the devil wants to bring you back to where you came from. The devil wants you to run away from God. He wants you to run and hide and not have close relationship with God. He's also going to want you to have ownership over never falling at all, which it's a partnership with God. Jesus is powering you through all of these things. However, even though Jesus is your partner through all these things, I will say this. He can be your partner, and at the same time, you have a responsibility to put barriers up against the things that are of the world. We're supposed to be hating the world the same way God hates sin and hates the world stuff. We're supposed to be hating the world. So we have to be renewing our mind. We can't just think, well, God's going to come renew my mind. No, we have to read our Bible, and that's how we, grow our faith. That's how we, all those things. So there's two sides to be on when you first get saved. Like, I've got the grace. I can live how I want. There's that side, which is an absolute bull-faced lie. And then there's a side where you think you can do everything on your own strength, and you become a Pharisee mindset where you do, oh, I'm doing everything on my own strength, and, I'm so perfect and I'm so holy. And if that's the case, it's going to be easy to take you down too, right? So, these people who just have greasy grace, I kind of feel like they've never been saved. And these people over here, super legalistic, that fall is going to come real fast for a lot of those people. So you'll end up having to reach for God again. And that second time is a charm. And we've all been there. That second time's a charm though. But you'll get through it. I mean, just remember that if God loved you at your darkest point, He's not going to give up on you. And He gave you the Holy Spirit so that He can continue bringing you back closer to Him and renewing you. But it is a partnership. You have to renew your mind. You got to pull out that word. And that's where the discipline actually is. It's in renewing your mind, pulling out that word, because the Holy Spirit can bring to remembrance what you put in your mind. But if you're not feeding your mind, He can't pull it to remembrance. There's nothing to pull from. Although I will say this. What's interesting about when I first got saved was that I was learning, God was training me, giving me His word, spiritually giving me His word. I hadn't even started reading the Bible yet. He was giving me His word. And then when I would be either in church or in Bible study or wherever I was, that same week, within 1 or 2 weeks, whatever God had already dropped into my spirit, I didn't know was in the Bible, then I would have church or in Bible study, it would come up. And it was just confirmation that God was teaching me and guiding me and training me. And it was like so beautiful. Like I can remember how I used to wake up and just, I was so in love with God. And I was like, I felt like He was doing this special thing just for me, and he was doing it just for me, but he does that for everyone. It's just when your heart is, wow, it's the beautiful thing when you first get saved and your heart is really, really open and you're like a baby, and God treats you like a baby when you're a baby. So what's interesting is when you're brand new, how often God spoke to me, like one word here and there, and I knew it was God. And he doesn't do that so much now. He doesn't. I'm just gonna keep it real. But I'm also no longer a baby. So God expects me to get out my Bible and read his word and get to know him and stretch and reach for him. He expects that of me. And I know that I'm no longer a baby. I'm, on my sippy cup, not on my pacifier, on my sippy cup. So he's expecting big girl behavior out of the little kid who now has her sippy cup. He doesn't want me acting like, okay, here's more milk when I'm already into finger foods. He doesn't want me acting like I have to be spoon fed everything. So that's what I would say about it. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already, be sure you subscribe. If you're on this platform, make sure you tap, 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 and flood the chat with your questions. We're doing Ask Me Anything. If you're brand new, it's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Yeah, the new to following Jesus is like a whole podcast because there's so many things that, like when you're new to following Jesus, there's seasons to that thing. New to following Jesus can be like, y'all, you got to be careful where you receive a word from. When you're new to following Jesus, you got to be careful with all these people that are calling themselves prophets. I'm not saying that prophecy is not real. What I'm saying is when you are a new believer, there's a tendency to want to be immersed in miracle signs and wonders, to be immersed in all these things that are like the giftings. And what I want to remind the new believer is there's no safer place than in your secret place with God and in that Bible. That covers you in a way that nothing else can cover you. And I can promise you it. I can just downright promise it to you that when you take out that Bible and you read that Bible, it's different from when you get around people of God, because don't forget there is legitimately an enemy who is working and ready to take you down when you're a brand new baby, new believer. And the enemy will often use what you think is a safe place to try to take you down. So, when you go to the church, don't put your discernment in the back pocket and forget about it. There are witches and warlocks that go to the church and they're on assignment to take down the children of God. So they will end up finding you and attaching themselves and looking to take you down. And that does not mean don't go to church. I'm not saying that. I'm saying eyes open everywhere you go. And there's no safer place than in your secret place and in your Bible, because that is where God's going to be building your spiritual disciplines, your strength. This is where you're going to be building like your discernment. And then when you get out there amongst different people, don't just think that your church group or your church place is the safe place, because I'm telling you, that there's evil, that people are coming down and they're seeking the kingdom kids and they want to rip them out of the kingdom and send them back someplace else. They're looking for that. And what I'm saying is the devil runs around like a roaring lion seeking whom he can devour is what I'm saying. And that's not just in the nightclub. It's not just there. It's not just at your ex-boyfriend's apartment or ex-girlfriend's apartment. It's everywhere, even in faith-filled places. It's everywhere. And we have a tendency as new believers to go into the faith-filled places and then take our discernment hat and just throw it down thinking everyone here is pure and holy and happy, when there are indeed people who are walking with wicked spirits, people who are badly in need of deliverance, those kind of people who are amongst you. And there's nothing wrong that they're there. I'd rather them be there getting the word of God in the church. But don't be deceived that there's not someone in there who would love to pounce on you. And I do mean that in many different ways. All right. I honestly could stay on that question the whole night. I could just stay there. I could just live there the rest of the night, if that makes any sense. Um, let's see if there's anything else that I want to hit on. When you're new to following Jesus, what I would say is be really, really, really careful about your inner circle. That's 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 where I found as the new believer, um, I never struggled in the backsliding in the worldly lifestyle. And I got plenty of worldly friends. I got plenty of worldly stuff in my back pocket to get to. And I live in Atlanta, y'all. Y'all know what Atlanta's known for. I'm not going to say it on the live. You guys know what I'm saying. So, but I didn't even have any risk with, nightlife kind of things. I didn't have that risk. I encounter most of my spiritual warfare from people who call themselves Christian, and there wasn't not a bit of Holy Spirit. But that's what I'm telling you. That's the thing that's really true is once you've given your heart to Christ and you are just yearning to be constantly in communion with Him, the devil's got to change his strategy. And whereas before you got saved, your biggest issue was maybe your cell phone and falling into like one night stands. Maybe that's what it was before you got saved, right? My apologies if there's anybody who's really young on this because, it is late. But, that might have been what was up at a certain point in time, right? But once you get saved and you have this heart that yearns for God, it's going to come in through the places that you think are safe. It's going to come in through your friendships, your close friends, all of that. That's where the enemy is trying to come in and pounce. That's legitimately where he's trying to come in. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I found that over and over and over again, it was continuously a battle with, and even till this day, it's always an inner circle battle. I've actually, what I've had to do is just shrink my inner circle. I am very, and I'm not saying that you need to do that. I'm just saying what I've done for myself. I also don't need a lot of people. I transparently, everywhere I go, I meet people. I'm social enough. I just meet people. If I'm on the elevator, I meet someone. If I'm in the grocery store, I meet someone. If I go to the gym, I meet someone. Everywhere I go, I meet someone. Everywhere I go, gas station. I don't care where I go. Eat food. I meet somebody everywhere I go. So that's not an issue for me. The issue actually is always my inner circle because it's always an unsuspecting something where someone flips on me in my inner circle. Always that. And I will add this, because let's not pretend like we're not at fault sometimes. I will add this. That's something that I've had to watch and monitor with myself because once you get in your safe inner circle space, the next thing you have to monitor for is the devil working on your mind to make you the person that makes one of your inner circle people fall. Because I'm going to tell you, anytime you get saved, and let's say you were dealing badly with spirit of lust. Let's just say that, for example. Let's say that was your battle. That was my battle. So let's be honest here. I don't have any secrets. Actually, I do have secrets, but you know what I'm saying. That's not one of them. That's not one of them. And I can't run away from that one because there's just too much evidence. So I'm plugging this in because it's about to die. My little question list is going to die if I don't do this. 1 second, y'all. What I will say is this. What's interesting is I've had to catch myself in my inner circle of like making sure that I don't fall into old nature. Because don't just think other people are coming against you. Spirits are working and they work inside of us too. So those things will be trying to get at you and get you to get someone else to fall. So like my old nature, I was absolutely no good. I was no good and couldn't be trusted. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I mean, you take it for what it's worth. So I in a snap I can go back to that if I wanted to. I just don't. But I could. I could go back to it and you wouldn't even believe I was ever saved. I could. But that is part of the muscle around living a worldly lifestyle your whole life is if I wanted to fall off, I could hang up this thing right now, get in the car, go act a fool, like right now. I always say it's by the grace of God that I haven't done that. But it's literally a snap away, and I also know it. So, what I've had to do is I've had to monitor myself in certain seasons and monitor, like, thankfully, God's graced me with being able to know myself. And I just know when I'm in a weak season. This is where Christians backslide a lot, is they're in a weak season, but they haven't done a self-assessment all the time. I just know when I'm in a weak season, and I don't play about it. When I'm in a weak season, I isolate in a second. When I'm in a weak season, I don't play with other people. I just don't. I don't go outside, as they say. I don't go outside when I'm in a weak season. Now, when I'm in a strong season, you might see me out and about a lot. And when I feel like I'm in a season where I just know I might fall back, then I just don't even deal. People will be like, "Oh, you coming out? You doing this?" I'm like, "No, no." Like, "Oh, why not?" I'm like, "I'll see you in a few months." And I don't care. I don't care that they don't understand. I mean, like, I don't even care. I don't even think twice about it. Like, I have like shut people down the last few months. Like, yeah, I will see you guys at the end of summer. It's not a thing. So this is also me like looking out for my own spiritual things. Like, if I think I'm gonna slip and fall, I'm not gonna even be out there dilly dallying, as they say. So the risk becomes, if you don't have an assessment of whether you're in this season weak or strong, then you might dilly dally in a weak season and find yourself, rolling around the sack or something. You might, you get it wrong, that's what can happen. I mean, and then you're just, all you gotta do is repent. I'll say that. All you gotta do is repent, run back to Jesus. Don't hide from it. But that being said, I don't feel like I'm in a weak season. I just don't feel like being bothered. That's different. I'm not out and about because I don't feel like being bothered. That's different from being in a weak season. Trust me. I've had seasons where I'm like, I'm in a weak season. No. Everything is no. No. It's just no because I don't feel like it. I'm in I kind of feel like this season I just feel overstimulated. Like, I got on a live just a couple hours ago, and they had the music playing. It was a group live, and I immediately wanted to exit the live because I can't stand all of that. I almost feel like, I don't know if you guys know, like, some people that have different neuro disorders. I just felt like I was overstimulated. Immediately overstimulated. It's like, how does their mind, I just got immediately overstimulated. I was just like, I wanted out immediately, but I like took a deep breath, and I like literally had to count and like deal with the overstimulation, because I was like, okay, I don't want to be rude and just exit out, but I cannot stand all the noise at all. Like, between the music and the pinging and the ringing, I literally had to just take a deep breath and count and try to like distract myself until like the 2-3 minutes was over. Then, like, okay, guys, have a good one, and then I just exit out the back door. But I can't take any noise, none at all. All right. So yeah, I think we kind of covered the new people come into Jesus. Watch your inner circle, and quite commonly for new believers, the people that you started with when you first got saved, just look at that circle and cut it in half at the very bare minimum. A lot of times, a lot of people are you're not going to keep. You're just not. And I can't explain why. Let me see if I can explain why. It's hard to put into words why. It's not that people are bad, but there are people in your inner circle that maybe from your old life, from your old nature self, who call themselves Christian, but they don't encourage in the areas where you need to go. They're not helping your sanctification process. They may not be bad people, but maybe they don't have the same risk areas that you have. So maybe for them going to the club is okay, and they don't drink, they don't backslide, they don't this, they don't that. And maybe for you, you become all those other things, all the things that you ran away from and left. You become all those things when they normalize what for you happens to be sin. is what I'm saying. They normalize what for you is sin. Maybe for them it's not sin. Maybe for them it's okay. Maybe for them it doesn't cause anything, but they don't recognize that it's going against your spiritual walk, and they're not encouraging you in that. So somebody said it's like an addict. Put yourself in the old places and in the old crowds, and it'll trigger you. Boom. That. You guys see that? Yeah, it's like that. So I would say it's exactly like that. So when you first get saved, I think that's probably the hardest thing. I think that's the thing that honestly I cried about the most. I cried the most about the people that I lost because they rejected me when I got saved. And I cried the most about the people who were close to me, who I knew I could not take into the future seasons. I just knew that they were not coming with me because they were not like me. They were not like me, and I couldn't make them like me. They were just not like me. And I cried. I cried. And it took me a while to let go of people who were good people, but just not good for my spiritual walk. And I knew that if I kept those people, that I would return back to my own vomit. I knew I would because they normalized all the sin that I had walked away from, but then they called themselves Christian. And till this day, I still have connections with these people, but I just don't, I take breaks from them because it's not good for me. When I'm in a strong season, I like keep them around here and there. And then other times it's like, I just don't want to be bothered. And I can tell you right now, I'm in a season, in this very moment, today I legitimately almost thought to just go block a bunch of people. Not because of anything other than I just, like, I don't know. It's hard to put into words. We're not the same kind of Christians. They're never going to be like my best friends. They're never going to be my best friends. I almost went in there and just blocked a bunch of people, you know? Um, it's not my responsibility to minister to them all day long. I've ministered to them. But it's not like I can't change their hearts. God has to do that, you know? God does that. I've planted my seeds that I'm going to plant. I've said what I need to say to them. It's not like I've been quiet about my faith. It's not like I'm not going to Bible thump them either. I haven't done that. But we're different. And I would throw us in the category of acquaintances. And, and deep down, I think they throw me in the category of acquaintance too. But I don't know. It's hard for me to put into words other than they're not going to bring me into sin, but I think my spirit gets annoyed by it. That's what it is. I think it's not just like logging into a live and it's noisy and I get irritated. It's like different from that. It's my soul kind of thing. My spirit gets annoyed because we truly are different. So as long as there are distractions in the room, I can manage those differences. But when it starts to get quiet and you're just sitting there and it's fewer of you, my spirit gets very irritated. And like today, I almost blocked a bunch of people. I just did. But if I did, I wouldn't have been upset with myself. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be upset with myself. So I didn't do it. And in 2 days, I might just block them. But do you guys know what I'm saying? It's so weird. It's hard for me to put it into words. Do you think I still hold on to them because it's part of my life? It's easy and familiar. It's not necessarily easy. I've come to the conclusion that I'm an alien. That's all. I've come to the conclusion that I don't belong on this planet. It's that simple. I don't belong here. I'm a citizen of heaven. I'm not trying to belong here. That's what's up for me. I'm 100% a weirdo. Totally. And whenever I mingle with people, it's okay. I can go mingle. It's fine. But it's almost like the same feeling as if I'm at work and then I go to a dinner with my coworkers and I'm mingling. It's literally the same thing. It's zero difference. It's work for me. In my head, I'm just mingling. I'm talking the talk, doing da-da-da-da, eat the food, snack, da-da-da, out of there. That's the mindset I'm in when I mingle with them. So it's no longer like this. It's just, I don't know how to put it into words. They're not going to make me fall. But then I know myself. If they were, then I would be avoiding them for that reason. they're not gonna make me fall. My spirit, it just gets irritated, and that's it. I mean, I'm in Atlanta. I don't expect to have people like me. This is like, I'm in alien zone here. This is just, I'm in a planet by myself. I don't expect to get like, I've moved past the idea that in Atlanta that's gonna be this whole love fest of all the like lovely Christians that are just like me. I've moved past that. Now I'm just like, I'm an alien, I'm a weirdo, and I'm here. Okay. So with that, like, my idea is like I keep them because it's like, okay, I live here, so like let me socialize a little bit. But then at the end of the day, these people are different from me. And now I'm doing other things now. So my ATL is definitely a case in itself. It is. I mean, I don't know how to put it into words. Um, you're gonna end up you're gonna end up on like an island by yourself. There's a risk that you just end up on a little island all by yourself, right? That's a risk. Or you sometimes engage with the people that are different from you. So that's how I am right now. Like sometimes I engage with the people that are different from me, but ultimately I do it a little bit here and there, and then I'm like, okay, enough of that. And then I go back to my island by myself because honestly, I know that I'm different. So, and I'm okay with it. I'm not trying to make people like me. I'm not trying to make them similar to me. I'm just like, I know they're different from me. I do what I'm supposed to do. I share what I need to share, when I need to, when I'm led. I try not to be a Bible thumper. I try not to hit them over the head with it. I try not to stay too quiet about it. And I try not to allow myself to go into like any situation that is going to be compromising. You have to know yourself, and you have to know what's sin for you. Like you have to know your atmospheres, your sin. You just have to know yourself. Thankfully, I'm not like a baby Christian now, so I just don't feel. Mostly, it just irritates my spirit. So once my spirit is irritated, then it's not necessarily as fun. So then there's no point. So me just being there is just like, okay, I did the thing. I was there. It's not feeding my soul any kind of way. And nowadays I'm happier cutting my videos, doing this, doing that. I'm just too busy. I'm just too busy. I have 20 things to do, and I'd rather go for a 4-hour walk. Let's see what's going on over here. Um, but yeah. All right, back to these questions. We're doing Ask Me Anything. It's your chance to ask me anything in the whole wide world. All right. If you haven't already, be sure to tap, tap, tap if you're on this screen. If you haven't already, if you're on this screen, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Let me know where you're watching from as well. I'll let you guys know if you're just hopping in there. This is Atlanta. It's 11:46 p.m. Eastern Time where I'm at. And let me know where you're watching from. All right, let's see what's going on in here. Did I record the podcasting talk from earlier? You totally missed it. Where was I? Mr. Michael, I have like 10 different social medias. I did record it, but I cannot even remember on what platform. I'm trying to think, what was I doing? Okay, I was on my beauty platforms. That's where I was recording from, because I was talking about content creation, not so much churchy stuff. So I was on the beauty platforms. My intention was to do a get ready with me, but then I ran my mouth and it went someplace else. So that was the end of it. I just ended up talking to the people, giving them free game. That's what I ended up doing. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Hello, Jason. Let's see what else is in here. What are some things people learn too late? Ooh. What are some things people learn too late? They learn about Jesus too late. My gosh. Here's what I would say. Things people learn too late, they learn about deliverance too late. So a person will go most of their life and be suffocating with all kinds of ungodly spirits, and they'll never know that there's freedom in Jesus. So they'll be tormented with like depression and all these other things. I have to be careful what I say because I can get out of the live, but they'll struggling with a million different things, depression, addiction, and a million different things. And people are not aware of how spiritual these things are. Um, and that there's deliverance in Jesus. They just don't know it. Even when it comes to like lustful dreams and all these things, like people think this is totally normal. I actually thought all this stuff was totally normal. And this is the wickedness of, even though, I'm a science person, that's the wickedness of science, is that they try to tell you that there's a reason for all of these things that's all strictly science. And I will say this, um, your hormones can be off and can cause a lot of things. Your gut health can cause a lot of things in your head. But at the end of the day, spiritual beings can cause a lot of things going on in your head. So I think that's something that people learn too late. But the time they realize they could get free in Jesus, like their whole life changes. Whole life, you know. And it makes me sad that a person will go 40 years, 50 or 60 years just totally demonized in some way because they don't know there's freedom in Jesus. And that's the hardest thing. And that's really hard for me as a person who does deliverance ministry. It's very hard for me to know someone is demonized and still at the same time, like they're not ready to get free because they're not ready to submit themselves to Christ. It kills me. It kills me. That thing hurts me so bad. And also, the thing that I notice is that people learn too late is they think that sex is just sex, when actually sex is spiritual. So that pains me because a lot of people will get caught up in fornication and they just don't understand how spiritual it actually is. And when they're getting free from one thing, but then, oh, wow, I finally got free of my depression. And then they go fornicate with someone who's got all these spiritual differences. They recontaminate themselves. And that alone helps me to stay on the straight and narrow from like running back to wildlife. Is I really understand how demonized people are. That has helped me. That has helped me not go back to exes, believe it or not. There are so many girls that want to go back to exes, but then y'all have to know, I fortunately, I typically know when someone has demons before they even tell me. So, and that's now that I'm saved. When I wasn't saved, obviously I didn't know that. But being saved on this side of the cross, on this side of Christ, I look back at my old relationships and I know exactly who had demons. And I'm just like, and so when those people, spin the block and come back, guess what's easy for me to do? It's easy for me to be like, nope. I won't tell them, but I do know who has demons. So it's not like I'm scared of their demons. What is triggering for me is like, I know what they have, and I know that they're people that have not submitted their full lives to Christ. So you can't get rid of and keep rid of demons unless you're fully submitted to Christ. That's what I know. It's not that I'm afraid of the demons. I mean, do I want them to be my friends? No. But what I'm saying is, when you know someone is heavily demonized and they consider it like their psychological diagnosis, but they're demonized and there's freedom in Christ, but they're not willing to submit their lives and try to live in the whole way that God suggests that we live, that you can get them free through Jesus, but then the demons will come right back because they just have the same old way of life, same old lack of submission. So what's she gonna do with that? Other than run away real fast, run. Someone said that's why women that sleep around with so many people experience psychological breakdowns. So I love that we use the word women. I do. I love that we use the word women because spirits that attack people for fornication, they attack both sexes. And you know where they get at the men? They get at the men early on in their early, young people years when they get a hold of certain types of videos, which I will not say those type of videos on here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That's when they get a hold of the men, is early on through the use of those videos, those special videos that cause a lot of problem, that cause a lot of addiction. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'll leave it at that. So think about it. The men are getting those spirits then, and then by the time they're, 15 or 16 or whatever, they decide to be a little bit more adventurous with other people, we'll leave it at that, then they are spreading those things. So let's be really careful about the women versus men because spirits don't differentiate. Spirits are looking for a physical body to inhabit and to experience because they're jealous of us. They want to experience the joy of having a body that can eat, that can drink, that can sleep around. Those spirits want access to that. So they are jealous of us and they will take their home in man or woman. So I want to be very clear about that. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, that being said, this is like the biggest. Let's get back to what you said there because there's a good point to there I do want to point out. You said that a lot of the women are having psychological breakdowns. That is true too. What is true is that the world has told these women that you can take birth control and that feminism has freed you. It's all fun. And there's a pill for everything that can fix it all. And guess what? The psychological things have come on because of this feminism that said that we have bodily autonomy and we could do whatever. All of it came in through that. And now through the fornication, it's an open door and we're exchanging all these spirits. It is the biggest reason why you can enter a relationship feeling so stable and peaceful and then you can exit feeling like nuts. It's a spiritual exchange. It's not just a physical thing. It is a spiritual thing. And if we could look and see the person's spirit, like guys, it is not, the girls might be pretty, but if you can see that their spirit is rotten, you just wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't. And same thing for the women. The guys look good, but if you could see their spirit being so rotten, like give them time to be healed in the name of Jesus and get free. Give them time. And then when you get with them, get married. Don't be doing that. But learn the hard way if you want. Let's see here. So yeah, my podcast talk earlier was on it was on my beauty media. What I think people learn too late as well. I'm struggling right now because I'm struggling with the middle-aged men who they thought they learned too late. Like it feels like when they were in their 20s, oh, that's too young to get married. That's what they all said. Then like when it came to their 30s, like they were still trying to get their money up, right? That's what they were saying then, right? Then it's like maybe in their 40s they were well intentioned to like settle down and then, didn't work out. This one didn't work out. That one didn't work out. It just didn't. Just stars didn't line up. And then they're middle aged. What I'm observing is like they didn't realize so late. They learned too late that they didn't have to have everything perfect to get married in their 20s. They didn't have to have everything perfect in their 30s. But what they have a taste for when they're middle aged is they still have a taste for the same beauty that they enjoyed when they were 20 and 30. They have the taste for the same beauty. Their attraction has not changed. But then their capacity to attract what they want is starting to adjust. It's starting to like maybe they're hitting on girls and they're not getting all the returns that they wanted. Men are learning that late because it's been programmed that women have the biological clock, women's fertility, but then it didn't get programmed to them that time can run out for them. That didn't get programmed. But what I see that men learn too late is like middle age comes and then like no one told them that it gets harder for them too. Maybe like, you can still do all the things, but like, so you can still have kids, you can still do this, you can still that. But no one's told them that dating gets harder for them too. That the fact that they are attracted to whoever and they're throwing their rope out there and like, oh wait, when I was 20, I threw it out there and I was getting them left and right. Okay. 30, I was throwing it out there. I was still getting them left and right. I just didn't want to. 40, I was throwing it out there and it's like, okay, it's starting to slow down. It's starting to slow down. Or the girls that are the prettiest, it's slowing down. And then the ones that you were like less attracted to, you can still get them. But you see how I did that? You can still get them. See, but you didn't want them. You don't want them. You didn't want them 10 years ago, so you certainly don't want them now. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That guys are learning late. Like we always teach about the biological clock for the woman, but guys are learning in their middle age that they have a biological clock too. Meaning, look, the clock is only as good as like, do you have who you want? Are you able to reel in the one that you want? That's really what we're saying. Don't wait until it's harder to get the person that you want. If that's what you want, then go for it while you're 20s and 30s. Go for it while your money is still low. Go for it then. Because when you're young, women are so, everything's a fairy tale anyway. So you get a woman when you're in your 20s and you're broke, you'll grow together. You'll be fine. Like, I think people tell y'all you need to get your money up perfectly. You're in your 20s, you're probably going to get the most beautiful woman you possibly can get while you're in your 20s. That's for my young people. Get them while you're in your 20s. You're going to get probably the best looking woman that you'll ever capture if you just get them then. And as you get older, you can still get some, but at a certain point, you're going to notice that you're not attracting the ones you wanted. You're attracting the ones that your second tier, your third tier, whatever your second round draft picks. I hate to put it in football terms, but I don't even like football, by the way. But your second round draft, third round, you're going down the line. You're going to be, you don't realize it, but that starts to happen. That your first round pick is not coming in. That's what I'm observing with the middle-aged guys. Their first round is not coming in, and they're like, psychologically they're still on wanting to get the first round, but their first round pick has access to all these other guys and they're trying those guys out and then you're missing. So it's just what's happening. Like, don't wait. Like, if you want someone, then while you're the younger you are, just go get them. If your money's not all in, just find someone who loves you, who's willing to like grow with you, because somebody is willing to do it. Not everybody is, but somebody is. And I think somebody said success changes everything. And I think that's also a factor. Like, when you get your money up, people are trying to get their money up. But then when they get their money up, they're attracting these gold diggers. Just go get the woman while you're like 25 and like still trying to find your way. So get them while you're all trying to find your way. She's trying to find her way. You're trying to find your way. It's easier then. I can tell you, for me, it's harder now. It's harder now. I have less interest. I have less patience. It's harder. And I'm happy single. I'm fine now. Like, what I wanted then, I don't even really want now. I don't even think about it now. So, let's see. How can one have fewer regrets later on in life? Oof. I'm gonna have to chew on that for a second. That's a hard question. So let me think about that for a second. It's a good question though. Somebody said you have better options when you wait. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You have to remember, not necessarily. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's the lie. What happens is, this is what happens. In your 20s, you have access to all the people, right? But every 5 years, a chunk of people are leaving the pool because they are getting married. That's actually what's happening. So you're 25, you have all these options. And then when you turn 30, you still have plenty of options. You just do. You have plenty of options. But keep in mind, a bunch of pretty girls got married in the last 5 years. A bunch got. And then you're thinking, but you still have a lot of good options. So you're happy, and you don't see it at 30. You don't see it right there. Then 35 comes, and now you're searching, and there are some good options. There's still quite a few. You're 30 and 35 with decent options, but something happens around 35 And I don't know how old you are, but if something happens around 35, the options just suddenly and drastically shift. That's what I will say. Suddenly, options just change. Like, there was like suddenly a lot of people in the dating pool, suddenly very few of the caliber that you want. Suddenly it shrinks. And it is because people are marrying out of the pool. And then all that's left is what's left. You are picking out of a smaller pool every 5 years. And no one's going to tell you that. Every 5 years, the pool is shrinking. Not only is the pool shrinking every 5 years, but every 5 years you are getting older. And I just had to look at myself on video because I'm over editing videos. And I looked younger 5 years ago. I looked younger. I was younger 5 years ago, but I looked younger 5 years ago. I had significant, cute baby fat in my face. Now, although I've lost weight, I also look older. Do you guys know what I'm saying? That's still a fact. So, do you guys know what I'm saying? Every 5 years, you're getting older, and every 5 years, you're looking older to people outside of you. You may not think you're changing that much, but you are getting older. And every 5 years, another chunk of people are marrying out. And there's only a few left at a certain point. And are you attracted to those few? Is what's becoming the problem. That's what I'm saying. And that sneaks up. It sneaks up on you. It sneaks up and it starts changing around 35, 36. That's all I'm saying. And people don't see that coming until it hits. And when it hits, it's all of a sudden like, I know one of my friends one of my acquaintances, I use the word friend loosely, y'all. I generally don't have a lot of friends. I just like have an inner circle that's this big. One of my acquaintances, friends, I'll call them friends for now, for this conversation, it's hitting him. And I haven't had a talk with him about it, but I know it's hitting him. And I absolutely know he is depressed about it because he pissed away so much time. He pissed away when he was in his super attractive years. He pissed it away. He was in his 20s and he could get all the girls. He had the job to get all the girls. He had all the thing, right? He didn't even want to think about settling down. He was on something else, playing Playboy at that time. He doesn't talk about that, but I know it. 30s, yeah, he was, still thinking he had all the time in the world. He was fiddling. 40s, he was like non-committal, getting close, and lost out on a few good options because he didn't move on them. And those girls moved on, got married. Now, the options suddenly shrank. And I don't have to even say it. He knows the options shrank. They just like that. If he even looked back 3 years, options were not like that. All of a sudden, the options shrank. All of a sudden, he's gotten older. He looks it, all of a sudden, the options shrank, and it's hitting all at once. One thing that I think people don't realize, and this is true for me for sure, is like I was watching one of the doctors I like to watch online, and this could never be so true, that aging happens in chunks like that. It doesn't happen like little bit and then a little bit more. You got another year, you got a little bit older, a little bit of crease, and it doesn't happen like that. It's like you go to sleep and you wake up and you're like, what in the world is huge dip on my face? The aging happens like that. It happens in chunks. Like I woke up one day and I was like, girl, you about to go to the doctor and get you all kind of medicines because we about to fix this. It happened all at once. So, because I was like in school and I woke up one day and I suddenly just looked old and I was like, oh girl, we not about to sit up here and get old. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. Real talk. And I was like, I'm taking my life back right now. What I'm saying is that like aging doesn't happen like step by step when you're at a time like that. It's like you don't age for a couple of years and then all of a sudden a big chunk you age. That's actually how it's happening. It's not like I aged a little bit and then aged a little bit more and then do It's not happening like that. It happens like, wow, I'm not aging at all. And then go to sleep, wake up, aged. Just a big chunk. And then I'm not aging at all. And all of a sudden, a chunk of aging. That's actually how it's happening. So, and that shows up on our look. So, what I'm saying is, I know that's happened for me, for sure. For sure, that's happened for me, for sure. I mean, I'm still running from it though. I mean, am I keeping up with it? I don't know, but I'm still running from it. And I could see even that happened for him. Like he wasn't aging for the longest time, and all of a sudden, I'm gonna tell you, in the last year, he had a hit. He had a hit of aging out of nowhere, and I'm like, ooh, yep. I remember that happened to me. I remember when I got out of school, I was getting out of school, that aging hit hard. I was like, girl, we had to do some things. We had to do some things, y'all. We had to take it back. I had to take it back to Africa, y'all. I had to take it back to Africa. I had to take it back to my people, y'all. Anywho. Somebody said most people don't take care of themselves, consume bad foods, you know, rugs with a D and alcohol, and stress ages you. Yup. Stress will age you. Stress will age you. Stress will age you, honey. It will do it. It will do it. So I will say that it happened even to him. So I don't think guys see that coming, the chunks of aging like that. I don't think they see it coming. When they wake up one day and the age started to hit, it's like it hits, and then you're like, whoa, and then it hits again. It waits for a while, and then it hits again. And it happens like literally overnight. Like I woke up and I remember calling my mom. I can remember my mom being my age, and I can remember thinking my mom was weird. Y'all, I remember when I was a little bit younger and I was saying that I was like, my mom is so weird. My mom takes like a million vitamins. She's so weird. And I didn't think that it was useful. I didn't think it did anything, blah, 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 blah. I just thought it was so weird, but I was like, whatever floats your boat. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it was, what program was I in that I was like, oh no, we are not going to age like this. We're not going out like this. It was in the last year of seminary school. I think it was the last year of seminary school, which would have been 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago, I got hit with that aging stick so hard that my head spun. And I went and I became exactly like my mom immediately. I was like, what vitamins? What this? What that? I got hit so hard with that aging stick overnight. I was like, Mom, I've never seen a wrinkle. All of a sudden, I have a crease. I have this. I was like, Mom, I called her. I was like, I never understood you. And you never explained to me what was going on, why you were taking all these supplements. I was like, but guess what? I indeed take all of the supplements now. Yes, I do. I am known in my circle for being that girl. I need to do a get ready with me in the morning to show you guys all the supplements I take. But hold on, honey. They work. All I'm going to say is they work. I got my youth back, honey. I wasn't playing about it, and I spent a lot of money on it too. But I always instantly think whenever I take out those supplements and I'm pouring them all and I'm mixing them like a bartender and I'm shaking them up and I'm pouring and when I'm doing all that, y'all, I'm going to tell you the truth. And just like that, I forgot because I'm getting older. Now, when I'm mixing all my stuff up, y'all, I think about the people who can't afford all those vitamins. The women who, like, equally woke up and saw their wrinkle and were like, what is that? I'm thinking about all of those women, and I'm reminded that I am so blessed that I'm like, God, we have to fix this immediately. The kingdom will not go down aging like this. We gracefully aging. We got grace in every other place. We're gonna have grace in aging too. So yeah, I'm about that vitamin life. I am about that supplement life. Don't even mess with me. I got a vitamin, a supplement for everything, and yes, I use them all. I use them all. I spend all my money on it. But that's it, and that's all. So I became my mom overnight. As soon as I saw like a wrinkle, I was like, oh, but no, I've never had one of those before. Meanwhile, it's perfectly normal to have wrinkles. I understand that, but I just wasn't used to seeing them, so I had to like end it. I had to end it. I had to get in front of it. If that makes any sense. All right, let's see what you guys are in here talking about. That wasn't very churchy of me, was it? I'm still in the flesh sometimes, y'all. Leave me alone. All right, let's see. Did I answer your question about how do I have fewer? I gotta get back to that one. What are some travel issues to avoid or be cautious of? A couple of things. Overseas, if you're going overseas, if you're traveling overseas, you have to be knowledgeable about the laws of the land wherever you're going so that you don't do something like that seems innocent but is extraordinarily illegal wherever you're going. So that's number one. And it could be something simple like, I grew up in New Orleans. So in New Orleans, it's legal to walk down the street with a adult beverage in your hand. It's legal just to walk around like that. I mean, in New Orleans, when I lived there, you could go to the daiquiri shop, get a daiquiri in your car, drive up, get the daiquiri, pay for it, put it in the car, and drive home. You couldn't pop the top on it and actually drink it. But in the car, you could get it to go, put it in the car, and drive. And it could be right there in your front seat, and that was totally fine when I grew up. I don't know what the laws are now, so I'm not your lawyer, but that's what it was like. So I can remember when I didn't realize that people had laws in other places. I just didn't. I grew up in a town. By the way, I grew up in this, like, I lived on the West Bank, but I lived like, I partied in the city. I lived amongst the city people. Like, I worked in the French Quarter. That was my domain. So I didn't have a knowledge of the fact that people lived differently than that. That was like my habitat, which is basically made me a kind of a wow thing, I guess. I guess it made me a wow thing. But yeah, when I didn't realize until I got married and I was on my honeymoon and I was in the tri-state area for my honeymoon and I didn't realize, like, I went to go buy a bottle of wine on Sunday. And you couldn't buy wine on Sunday and I was totally confused by that. I was like, they're like saying that I can't buy this wine. I came home and I told my ex-husband, my husband at the time, I was like, we're on the honeymoon. I was like, oh, they're saying I can't buy this wine. I don't like, what, why not? I didn't I was like, why not? And I wasn't even like a person who was like a big drinker at all. It was just like I was on my honeymoon. I felt like I should have like a bottle of wine or something. It's just like one of those things I felt like I should have. It wasn't like I was a big drinker. I never have been and never will be. But I thought it was weird. And I came to find out that the way we just can buy liquor any day of the week and just walk down the street drinking in public, I realized that that's totally illegal in all the other states. So I was literally like, I don't know, 23 years old, realizing that the other states had laws. And I was like, oh, I thought this was normal. I thought it was actually stupid. I was like, what's the difference between Sunday and the rest of the days? But, and again, I wasn't a big drinker, so I also didn't get it. But, whatever. What was I talking about? You would think I'm sleepy, but I'm not actually. Somebody said you can do the same in Vegas. I hate Vegas. I mean, when I say I hate Vegas, I'm overstimulated in Vegas. If you guys heard my earlier conversation, how I get overstimulated with like too much noise and ringing and pinging, I get very overstimulated and I just can't. And in Vegas, Vegas is the only time before the pandemic that I really truly realized that I get overstimulated. I didn't know that I got overstimulated like that until that was the first time I realized it in Vegas because, there's all these lights, all this stuff. There's the casinos, there's like the ringing, the pinging, the noises. It's smoky everywhere you go. I absolutely hated Vegas. I absolutely hated it. However, I wasn't even saved and I hated it. I hated Vegas because I'm not a real drinker. I wasn't a smoker. I didn't use any of the substances. That was never my thing. So I just hated Vegas. However, I did love the concerts because that's why I went. I went to go see Gwen Stefani. By the way, her concert was popping. So I will give her that. And I did think about going to see like J-Lo and them, seeing the peeps you know. Um, but yeah, we'll see, whatever. But yeah, the travel issues, I would say the travel issues you should avoid would be going to a country and not knowing their laws. Really, at this point, going to other states and not knowing the laws. As you can see, I was going to other states and not knowing the laws. Um, Because even with things like certain substances that are legal in some states, those substances are not legal in other states. Like in Georgia, that same substance will get you 10 years in prison. So, and in Colorado, that substance might be illegal. And in Georgia, you get 10 years. So, I mean, I would be very careful for those people who are into substances. First of all, just don't do them because the Lord, I don't know how he would feel about you doing those substances. Um, but I would also say you get yourself into some big legal trouble too. So there's that. Um, the other travel things to avoid are considering like what foods are considered high risk foods to eat when you travel because you can go to places where the food is not um, like they may call it clean, but it's not clean according to the standards of the American lifestyle. So for, some places you getting a hold of the water would cause you really bad GI discomfort and you might be stuck in the bathroom during your vacation just from eating or drinking their cold food or their water. So I would just say if you're going to travel someplace and you're a little uncertain about their sanitation practices, I would avoid tap water. I would just get bottled water and I would avoid cold items and try to eat foods that are piping hot and that have not been sitting idle under a heating lamp. I would just try to get foods that are piping hot. Like I wouldn't try to like, oh, let me get a salad because I want to be healthy. You might be stuck in the potty. Might happen. I also think like the water can get you in trouble big time. So yeah, I would stick with cooked food and hot as you can get it. Not when I say hot, I don't mean spicy. I mean hot as in temperature hot and keeping it at consistent temperature. So food that's not like a buffet. Don't I wouldn't be trying to do a buffet in a new place. I don't even like to do a buffet in a place that's not getting a lot of customers in America, let alone doing a buffet in another place, another country. I would never, never try to do that. Um, I would also avoid, like, I used to eat sushi, but sushi carries a lot of, like, parasites and things. I don't eat sushi anymore. I've given that up, y'all. I gave that up this year. Last year, I guess, I suppose now. Because I haven't had it at all this year. But, yeah, I would not go eating sushi. I would even eat sushi in this country now, but I wouldn't eat that just because of the parasites. Um, so my travel issues are really centered around stomach being upset, um, not knowing the rules of the land. I would also say it's not just rules that get you in legal trouble. I think understanding the cultural norms so that you're not out of place and becoming a target for crime. So you can go to a place like you can go to a place where, let's say you're in the Middle East someplace. Like I went, for instance, I went to India, and when I went to India, did I wear this shirt? No, I didn't have on this shirt. I didn't wear this particular shirt, but I had a shirt that was made like this, for example. It was made like this. It wasn't super little, like you don't see my actual cleavage, but you do see some skin here, right? You see some skin. I had a shirt that was built just like this, and I went to India. A shirt like this got me majorly targeted in India. And it was to the extent I was so uncomfortable that I thought, this is putting like this is putting me on the radar in a way that I don't like. This is not safe for me. So those kind of things, and believe it or not, I did do my research. The family that I was staying with, I asked them, I was like, oh, do I need to wear traditional clothes? Yes or no? Just let me know. And the girl was like, oh, no, you don't need to. You're an American. You'll be fine. They understand. So I was dressed, this is modest as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I put this tank top on before I went live. I didn't have this tank top on earlier. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do my churchy thing. Better put more clothes on. Which I think is so weird because for the world, I don't do it. And then for here, I'm like, I'll add another layer. Part of me rolls my eyes to it, but I just do it. I just do it. Just do it, you know? But at the end of the day, but yeah, where was I at? So I had on a shirt like this. It was actually a sweater and it looped down like this. And this is the same amount of skin that I had showing. It was not more. It was not more or less. It was the same amount of skin showing. And I got so targeted that day. It was so uncomfortable. I was aggravated with the girl who gave me bad information. I was aggravated with her because I was like, this could have been just totally avoided if you'd have given me the information that I needed. When I said, do I need to wear the clothes or not? You could have just said, it's better to wear them. If you can afford to buy it ahead of time, just buy it. I could have just went down the street and bought it and been done, you know? But she's like, oh no, you're fine. They'll understand. Like, no, they didn't understand. But now I've learned that lesson. I've learned that lesson majorly. So now I realize that look at the pictures before you go someplace. What do the people of that town look like? And it's better to, when you're going to travel, especially abroad, it's better to match what people look like than to just try to like make a statement. You don't want to make fashion statements in places that are not your land. You can get targeted, you can get hurt, injured, all kinds of bad things happen to especially females. I would just say you could avoid, that's totally avoidable stuff by just blending in. And I easily could have blended in with an outfit where people wouldn't have been looking. They would have looked, but they wouldn't have been looking. But so yeah. And it's not like America where when you show skin, people are looking and they're all like, ooh la la. It's not even like that. The looking and the stares were like, oh shucks, I'm about to be in trouble. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understood that I shouldn't be out. Now, it's weird because for them, belly being out is not something bad. And for us, belly being out is like, ooh la la. But this is an absolute no. That's an absolute no. So, I mean, when I came back, I felt like I was changed for a while. I would have wore a shirt like this for a minute because I felt so naked. But yeah. Let's see. So let's go back to that other question. The question was, how can one have fewer regrets later on in life? That is such a hard question. I'm not sure I can answer that question. Y'all, I've been doing Ask Me Anything for how many years now? I've never said I don't think I can answer a question. I don't think I've ever said it. I don't think I've ever said it. That means I gotta come up with an answer. I don't think I've ever said it. I mean, I have regrets, y'all. So my gosh. I have to think for a second. That is such a deep question. What can I do to avoid having, I don't know if you can avoid regrets altogether. You know, when a person has fewer regrets, they probably had fewer life experiences too. So once you've lived life on the straight and narrow, coloring inside the line, then you'll come out with the regret of, I wish I'd have went more crazy. That'll be the regret. Like, I didn't live enough. I mean, y'all, I got stories. All I gotta say is, like, when I'm like an old lady, when I'm in the old lady zone, the people are gonna love my stories. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come out the box with the stories. Then I'm gonna tell all. I'm gonna have a tell all when I'm like 97 years old. And y'all, I'm gonna tell all of it. I'm gonna tell all of it. I'm gonna tell all the dirty secrets. I'm gonna shame them because most of them aren't gonna be alive anymore anyway. I'm gonna shame them. I'd be like, once upon a time, and over here this happened, and I was a hot young thing. I'm gonna tell the whole truth, and y'all, I don't tell the whole truth now. I tell a lot of the truth, but I clean it up. But when I turn 97, y'all, I'm gonna be on one. I'm gonna be telling the whole truth. Y'all gonna have to put me away if y'all don't want me to tell the whole truth. Y'all have to put me away. Because I'm going to be telling the truth on everybody. And I'm going to be telling names. I'm going to be naming names. I'm going to be name dropping and telling truth. I'm going to be like, this person in 1997. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to be like, in 1997, this happened. And this person did it. And I saw this. What you think about that? I'm gonna tell all. That's my plan. I'm gonna be the richest old lady with the best tell all book. Let's see. I don't know, but that's a good question. I just don't know, like, I mean, here's what I would say. I will answer that question. Somebody asked me the question, how can one have fewer regrets later on in life? I'm having to like reflect on my own regrets and then like think about how to answer this question. Like where I have my biggest regrets are in the areas where I got a specific warning from God, a clear and specific warning that I did not heed and I continued on my path. Because there's only really a few times where I had those clear and specific warnings that God had put on my heart even before I was saved. I'm talking about majority before I was saved. I actually, when's the last time I had a really specific warning? I can't even think of it. But these are all things that happened before I was saved, which shows you like the grace of God. But I had all these warnings before I got saved of different moments in time, different stuff. Y'all know I was into some trouble. I was into some things, y'all. I mean, don't forget, I worked in the French Quarter. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave it at that. I was into some trouble, y'all. And when I think about it, oh no, some of those stuff we got to take to 97. You got to, pop in when I'm 97, then I'll tell all. Some of those things we're not going to talk on the internet. So you got to know me in person to know those stories. We might have to take some of those stories to our grave. And some of those stories are not that old either. So I can't even blame it on my wild youth. I'd be like, well, I was just, dumb and grown in some of those stories. I would say the instances where God gave me clear warnings, those are the things that if I could go back, I probably would do them totally different. Like warnings but I did grow, y'all. I did learn and grow. Like my first marriage, God told me not to do it. He legit told me no. And I was like, nope, I'm doing it. That was that. And you see where that landed me. God literally was like, don't do it. But I was very, very rebellious. And not only that, like the warnings came in layers, multiple layers. Like God told me, don't do it. I was like in my room by myself. God was like, don't. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then my dad came and told me, BB. And I'm like, Daddy, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. That's a perfect example. That's one. And God gave me messengers. God gave me, even my brother was like, he didn't say anything, but the look on his face was like, mm-mm. My brother didn't approve. He just didn't say anything out loud. He just didn't approve. Quietly, didn't approve. But he knew me. He knew me that he knew I was going to do it anyway. So I asked him only like a few years ago. I was like, why didn't you verbalize? I was like, why didn't you shake me? Why didn't you shake me and tell me, no, Hannah, no? And my brother was honest with me. He was like, I was like, I could tell you didn't approve, but you didn't like shake me and tell me no. I was like, why didn't you just do that? And he was like, Hannah, you were not the type of person to listen to anybody. You just were not going to listen. So I was like, not going to mess up my relationship with you to tell you no. You weren't going to listen anyway. You were going to do it. And I knew you were going to do it. So I just shut up about it. And I was like, oh. I was like, well, what if I would have listened to you? What if you were the only one who could have got through to me? And he was like, Hannah, you weren't going to listen. I just stayed out of it at a certain point. I just left it alone. And I was like, dang. Um, what other ones? That was a major one. God told me again, not to get married again later. And that time I listened because I was like, oh, wait, God, the last time God told me this, I didn't listen. I see how badly my life turned out. And that's like, never again. I ended that. I broke my engagement the same day. God was like, nope. Not only was God like, nope, y'all, I've told the story before. It was actually kind of scary. I was like, I prayed about it for 5 days because I started getting a feeling that like something wasn't right. And I went into prayer and I did not ask God. This is before I asked God permission before I did things. I was still like, you know, new believer. So I was still trying to do things on my own. So I got engaged on my own. And then like I remember like something just felt really off and I was like, I went into prayer about it then. I had already agreed, I'd already publicized it. Everybody in the Hawaii world knew I was engaged. It was a mess. It was a mess. But I started feeling like, wait, something's off. I went into prayer for like 5 days, and like 5 days I was in that Bible. 5 days I was all by myself. I was like all by myself. And I was looking for an answer, and I wanted a clear answer from God whether I should move forward, yes or no. And on like the fifth day, it finally broke, and God was like, no. And I was like, like I'm talking 5 days, not eating, not sleeping, kind of like just in that Bible, just in my prayer closet. You know, just quiet with God for 5 days. I had never, actually, I don't think in the most recent years I've ever gone that hard to get to an answer from God. I don't think even since I've gone that hard to get to an answer from God. Um, and God was like, no. I was like, okay. So I can remember when God gave me the no. I was walking home from the park. I was in Texas at the time. I was living in Texas at that time, my happy place. I was on my way home from the park, and it's like a 45-minute walk. So I was walking home from the park, and weather was fine. And then I started thinking about the fact that God had told me no. And so I was 98% at this point, like, okay, I'm going to end the engagement, but I hadn't told the guy yet. 98%, like, God said no. So 98% was like, okay, I'm going to end this. And then on the walk, I was walking, and then I began to think about how much humiliation I was about to go through. You know, that real thing started happening. Like, 5,000 people on my Facebook are about to know I'm no longer engaged. Like, the reality is, I have to go tell my family I'm not engaged. I have to go tell my friends I'm not engaged. Like, I have to go. Like, I literally was like facing it, like, wait a second. I'm about to be humiliated on a level that I can't even fathom. And there was 2% of me that literally just didn't want to face all that. I did not want to face it. Mm-mm. And then y'all also know when, every girl wants to get married, right? So then when you break an engagement and you're a woman, you know you about to take the L. You know you about to take it because it's like, everybody's going to think you got dumped. That was tough for me. In my pride, that was tough for me. So 2% of me on that walk, I was walking and I was like, oh, dang, I gotta tell Bible study. I gotta tell my friends. I gotta tell my parents. I was like, oh, geez, this is about to be nasty. I was like, I'm gonna have to tell 5,000 people on Facebook. I just was like, oh, it's about to go down. It's about to hit. It's about to be bad, bad. And honestly, that 2% of me didn't want to face like the shame of it, the embarrassment. It's gonna be humiliating. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be taking this L for a long time. To be honest, I'm still taking the L for that engagement, that broken engagement. I'm still taking it. Some people still think I'm married, and they bump into me in Atlanta. They're like, "Where's your husband? Where's your husband?" And I'm like, "Oh, didn't you see the post?" And they're like, "Oh, ay, Dios mío, Roy, how?" How did that happen? And I'm like, I'm okay. Ay, Dios mío. Oh my God. They're all like, I'm so sorry. Oh, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. But I'm still living it down actually. So yeah, so that happened. And so 2% of me didn't want to go through it. And I remember looking up at the sky when I was thinking about that 2%. And the weather suddenly like shifted like in 2 seconds. The weather shifted. I had never seen anything like that. 45-minute walk, and I was about at this point 20 minutes away from my house. That weather shifted crazy. That sky opened up crazy. And all of a sudden, I felt the sense of how small I was. And I understood exactly how big God was. I understood immediately. So this is what I was wrestling with. The 2% of like, oh my gosh, shame, humiliation, people are gonna know. Like it's not I can't make it. I can't undo an engagement and then not go through a bunch of shame. Like I'm gonna go through that if I do it. Or I can continue on with the engagement, which now God has been very clear that it's no. Not only that, but I got the same no from God years ahead when I got married the first time and I didn't listen. So when that sky opened up and I realized like God, this is what I felt. It's very hard to explain with words, but I just felt the greatness and the largeness, the vastness of God, and I felt how minute and small. I felt like an ant. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I felt like an ant, and I felt God, and I felt like an ant. I felt how small I was. And I realized that God could strike me down right now, and it would be totally just for him to do so. Like, I was in rebellion, and I was in rebellion, and I knew it. I knew that if I continued, now I'm going against God, and God has revealed the truth. So it's one thing when you feel confused, which is why I was in prayer, but it's a second thing when God has revealed himself. And at that point, I had full revelation. I understood. God says no. And now if I do it anyway, I'm doing what I want and not what God wants. God is not in this. So when the sky opened up, it literally scared me. It scared me. And I felt like the wrath of God actually is what I felt. And I also realized that was wrestling. I had been wrestling. Before that moment, I was wrestling real good. Um, and I was scared. I felt I felt like God might just strike me down right here, and he would be just in doing so. And then my phone rang, and it was my dad. And this is weird stuff, y'all. My dad's like, BB, the weather's getting bad out there. You want me to come get you? Because my dad knows I like to go for long walks. He knows I like to go to the park. And I knew my dad was my easy way out. And I knew that what was happening here, I needed to face this thing. Like, this thing is a God thing, and this is about me. And this is not about anything else except me right now. And God, I need to face this thing. And if God takes me out, then maybe that's what's up, right? I just knew that like I was wrong at this point, right? And I was like, no, Daddy, I'm good. I'm good. I'm like 15 minutes walk left. I have 15 minutes. I'll be back. Yeah, I'm walking fast. I'm good. He's like, BB, I'll come get you. I'll come get you. And I was like, no, Daddy. No, Daddy, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just walking. I'm walking. I'm right around the corner. I'm right around the corner. I'm like, I'll be back in just a little bit. My dad gets off the phone and I face it and I'm like, okay. Right there in the storm. And at this point now it's storming. Out of nowhere. Rain, storm, lightning, all the things. And I just repented in the rain. I repented right there and I realized this engagement is off. It's over. It's done. God is done with it. He does not agree. Get out, run, don't look back. The end. I repented. I went back to my dad's house. I canceled everything in the same day. I canceled it all. Cancel it all. And I just had to live with it. I had to just live with that mess. But that's what happened. And honestly, I don't regret canceling any of it. Now I understand. I understand better. It just wasn't God's will for my life. That wasn't my person. It wasn't God's will for my life. And since then, God's not told me anyone, like go here or do this or nothing. It's just been quiet. So yeah, that's it. So I don't know if I'm supposed to get married. Maybe I'm not, and I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with it now. It took me some time to like adjust. But I'm adjusted to like, oh, if God wants, it's gonna happen. He's gonna make it. If he doesn't want, then it's not gonna happen, and it's fine. But I do know this. I do know that I am better off now listening to God than I would have been if I stayed in it. I'm sure. I'm 100% certain that I did the right thing and that actually this was God's protection, period. God knows stuff that I don't know. And I learned that lesson the first time. God sees things further in advance than we see. God knows stuff that we don't know. He sees the whole thing. And I understood. Like, I know if I would have done it, I would have ended up divorced. 100%. By now, I'd be divorced. 5 years. I don't think it would have made it 5 years. By now, I'd be divorced already. So God knows. God knows. And I don't feel like I lost a thing. God knows. I don't question God. Once he reveals the truth, once he reveals something to me, I don't question it at all now. So that was tough though. That was in the moment. You have to remember, right before the sky opened up and all that weather changed, I was over there debating rebelling against God. That 2% of me, you guys know, God knows your heart. He knows your heart. You can't hide from him. So just because I said 98% of me was going to just cancel it, God knows my heart more than I know my heart. So whatever I think is 2%, maybe I'm saying 2%. Maybe I was 50-50. Maybe God knows I was 50-50. Maybe God knows she doesn't want to be ashamed. She doesn't want to feel like the loser. He may have known that I wasn't really 98% to 2%. He might have been like, this girl is 50-50 and she better listen. What's interesting about the sky opening up is I also very much felt the sense of free will. 100% felt I can go my own way, but that this is going to be to my own detriment if I go my own way. I 100% understood my free will in this situation, that I didn't have to listen to God. but that I should listen to God because He is this and I am that. I should listen to God, but I felt I didn't have to. And I can't put all the emotions all into one, but I did feel that it was God giving me my warning and telling me to get out and run and end it right there. And I did. So yeah, that was it. I ended it the same day. The same day, I ended everything all at once. No conversation, ended everything. Boom, boom, boom. Told everybody, ended it, went through it. Repented in the rain, went through it. That's what I did. And I feel like God, all of that was actually God's mercy. So I don't want to leave you guys with like the storm and God is wicked. That's not the message I'm trying to give. The message I'm trying to give is that that's the extent that God went through to show me and reveal to me. Not only did He already tell me the truth when I was at the park after 5 days of prayer, this is the extent that God went to show me how much He disagreed with the direction that I was taking. That's the extent. That is actually His mercy, even though it looked like maybe some scary, wicked, it may have looked like that, but that is God's mercy, because what would have been in front of me would have been a whole lot of trouble. More trouble than probably the first time around. More trouble, if that makes any sense. Because there's a difference between, I just want to call out, there's a difference between somebody who's, how do I describe it? So, you guys know when a person is lost, when they're not saved, and they're operating in their flesh, and they're going against God, you expect that. And there's not a lot of secrets about the fact that they're in their flesh, they're going against God. There's not a lot of secrets in that. But where you can really get deceived is when someone is operating from, when they say they're a Christian, or they verbally say, I'm this, but then you don't discern wickedness there. That's actually been my experience since I got saved, that's how the devil has operated since I got saved. I've not really ever like, oh, I'm just gonna slip and fall in this sin, like, it's not been like that. It's always been greater levels of deception to get me to fall. It's always been greater levels. So I say all that to say, what I think God saved me from, like, these greater levels of deception that I had never seen or experienced, and that I just wasn't even ready for at that point. Like, I wasn't even ready to battle that kind of stuff. And that's what I would say. It's hard for me to put it all into words. I just know now. Even then, it was like I was in my flesh, worried about what people were going to think about me. Once I realized I shouldn't do it, the next thought is like, oh man, I'm gonna be looking like a fool. Like, that's pride, and all those things. Um, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that God went through the leaps and bounds to make sure that whatever I may have thought, I'm only 10%, 2% gonna consider staying with it. God knows my heart, and He knows maybe I was 50-50. He knows something that I don't know, and that's why He gave me that visual. Like, girl, I know what you want to do, and you want to just stick this out so that you can have your little, your little wedding dress and your little thingy, your little, yeah. But no such thing. God showed me. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I have no regrets. I would say there's been instances like that I've had. Somebody was asking the question, how can one have fewer regrets? Do you see how the first time I made the big boo-boo by rebelling against God, I didn't listen to God. I didn't listen to my dad. I didn't listen. And I did my own thing. And when I say it crashed and burned, it crashed and burned. I paid for that. I paid for that. Till this day, I'm still dealing with that mess. What's different now is God will do the same thing now, but I'm not as rebellious. So when God gives the same warnings now, I just simply follow and obey. I don't try to fight Him on it, because I'm all like, God's not telling me this to be mean. He's telling me this out of his own mercy. His own mercy. He sees something I don't see that's good enough for me. Young people, I think young people in general, that's the problem. God's still talking to them, and they don't want to receive it. And I've been there. I mean, thing is, sometimes you pay for it with your life when you don't listen to God. Sometimes you pay for it by living a broken life. Like living a life that had less power than what God intended for you to have. You might have to live in certain situations that God never intended for you. Um, but I really do think this was a greater risk. I really do think it's a greater risk. I think God would know. God would know I was like new in my Christian journey at the time. God would know maybe this thing would have broken my spirit in a way that um, I would have went against God and that my soul was at risk. Do you guys know what I'm saying? God doesn't give every little detail. And maybe I would have become so broken in that I would have actually willfully turned away from God and never gone back. We don't know how I would have responded to the same thing years later. That the God may have been trying to show me that, you know, and that was the turning point where I could have said, okay, let me listen to God or let me not. And I do think that there are many instances that we go through that throughout life. And I'm just not trying to make those mistakes again. Like those kind of things. There are mistakes and there are mistakes. You know what I mean? Some mistakes you like, okay, that messed up 6 months, or that messed up a year, or that messed up my bank account. And then there are mistakes where you lose a decade, or you lose your life. There are mistakes like that. And we're kingdom kids. God's not gonna just let us go in front of a fire like that and not give a warning. That's what I say. He's not doing that. He's not doing that with his kids. But will we listen? Will we seek his face? Will we listen? That's the problem. We call ourselves kingdom kids, but we don't break out the Bible. Like I didn't pray before I started down the path. I prayed about it once I was on the path and I discerned things were off. And I'm like, this feels off. That's when I started to pray. This was already too late, y'all. I already was suffering. And I wasn't even married yet. I was already suffering. And that's something, even that far down the path, God never intended that for me. He never intended any of that for me. That level of suffering, God wasn't intending that for me. So that's all I want to say about that. Yeah. Yeah. Pray to who? Pray to Jesus. Who else? The King of Kings, my friend. The Lord of Lords. The Savior of your soul. Jesus. All day, every day, only Jesus. Nobody else. Nobody else. Yeah, let's be careful who we're praying to, because there's all kind of things you can pray to. Yep. you're so about that. Yeah, that's some wild stuff. Y'all, I finished all the questions. You guys have any other questions? Pop them in the chat. Pop them in the chat. Pop them in the chat. I don't like where that light is. I'm gonna have to move that. That looks weird. Messed up my video with that thing in the background. Go pop it in the chat. I don't see any questions. I'm looking. I'm gonna chill for a minute. Let's see what you guys are in here talking about. Is that not a wild story? Isn't it funny how God will let you go through the same experience twice to teach you lessons? Man, I said to myself, oh, no, I can't go through that experience twice. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not doing that twice. Let's see what you guys got in here. Y'all are quiet. Well, did we finish? I'm seeing. I'm waiting for the questions to pop in the chat. Let's see. 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 Have we dried up the questions? Mr. Senors on the TikTok, do you guys have questions over there? Senoritas, do you have questions over there? Pop them in the chat. We're doing Ask Me Anything in case you just hopped in there. We're doing Ask Me Anything. It's your chance to ask any question in the whole wide world. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Are quiet as little mice. Do, 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 do. I don't see any other questions. All right, let's see. Oh, we got the people acting the fool in the chat. What's new? What's new? I don't see anything in the chat. All right, guys, we'll call it a night. I will see you guys when I see you, maybe on the weekend again. Not certain, but I will be live again probably on the weekend again. What's my age restriction on dating someone older? I haven't thought about that. When I was younger, I dated older people. I don't know if I would do it now. Do I know that it's 1 o'clock in the morning? Yes, I do know. I'm wide awake. Yesterday, I had a really exhausting week, so I just slept. I just slept. I slept. I was like, I should go live, and I was like, no, you need rest. No, I don't think I'll date somebody older now. I feel like I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't date anybody older than me now, I don't think. I mean, well, what am I to say? I'm not even looking for somebody. I'm not trying. I'm not worried about it. Most of the time, when people hit on me, I just say no thanks nicely. Everybody. It doesn't matter. They have money, don't have money, smart, not that smart. I just say no. I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm not even centered on it anymore. I have 25 things on a list. I'm looking at my list right now. It's actually right there. I just can't reach it. I can't reach it from here without getting completely out the frame. It's right there. I wish I could reach it. I have 25 things on a list that I'm working on. I scratched off a few yesterday. When I woke up yesterday, I did do a few things. And I scratched them off my list. But I have 25 things on a list. I can't tell you how I'll feel tomorrow. I can remember 10 years ago, I was super idolatrous about marriage. All I wanted was to get married. Now, honestly, at the moment, I just don't even care about it anymore. I think, I don't know if it'll last forever. I just don't. I don't care about it to the extent that I don't prioritize it. I don't want to date. I don't prioritize it. It literally doesn't even come to mind. And a lot of times when I go out, I don't remember it all the time, but a lot of times I actually just wear a ring so people don't hit on me. That way I don't have to spend 10 minutes having the conversation about, nah, I don't think I'm going to date. Because it's too hard to really explain that it's not them. I just don't it's too hard to put into words. Because maybe I don't have the words for it. Maybe I don't have the words for it. It possibly could be I dated a lot already and now I just don't have interest for it anymore. It feels like something that I moved past. And I don't know if anybody can feel me. pre-pandemic me, I dated plenty. I dated plenty and a lot. And it was different. And I actually, like, I can remember when I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, like, meeting a new person, going on a nice dinner, all these things. I can remember I enjoyed it. And it doesn't feel like a process that's for me. It doesn't feel like my thing. I don't have a desire to do it. If I wanted to do it, I could be on a date right now, actually. But I mean, like, I just don't want to. I don't want to, and I don't want to spend somebody's money just doing it just to go through the motion. I just don't want to. I don't really think a lot about marriage. I actually think a lot about how peaceful I am. I don't think a lot about marriage. Um, what I could say is most women should pretty much look for older guys to marry most of the time. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. I'm not interested in dating an older guy either. And I've dated plenty of older guys in my like pre-pandemic days. I don't want to do it now. I don't have interest in doing it. Um, it's hard for me to put into words. Oh, how old am I? I actually, that's one question I actually don't answer. Nope, don't answer that question. Because I just don't. It's actually a lot of different reasons why I don't answer that question. But yeah, I don't know. I can't put on the what's that? Oh, my phone did something weird. That's strange. Um, I don't know. I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I actively put it this way. I actually put more active effort into not dating than I put into dating. I actually put more effort. If I actually had to run down the number of days in a month that I wore a ring when I got out the house, or actively did something to avoid um, dating, I would say I spend more days per month actively avoiding dating than I put into trying to do the thing. I put more effort into that. So, my suggestion for the beautiful people of the world is find somebody who wants to date. Find somebody who wants to do it. I don't actually think that I may have moved past it, y'all. I had a phase like this a couple of years ago where I was like, I went through a long phase that I wasn't interested in dating and didn't date. I just didn't want to, didn't like it, didn't want to, and didn't do it. I went through it for a couple of years and I just didn't date. And I feel like I've re entered that. But it could be wrong, but I feel like I've re entered it. I don't have any interest, no desire to date, none of it. And I don't, it could also be that I live in a land where I'm an alien. In this land, I am not fit for this land. So I don't walk out my door thinking Prince Charming is out the door. I walk out the door thinking these people are crazy. So I don't actually like, it is what it is. I think you have to remember I've dated a lot and I can date if I want to. It's easy for me to date. I've never had a hard time dating. I've never had a hard time having a boyfriend. It's always been easy for me. If it's not been that way for my girlfriends, it's always been easy for me. Not because I'm the prettiest of my girlfriends. Actually, I'm not the prettiest. I'm the most I'm the most I'm the most like humorous, warm and friendly. My friends are prettier than me, but I'm like more approachable. That's the word. I'm the more approachable girl of the group, and they're the more pretty girls of the group. But I'm gonna tell you, for all the girls who feel like they're like the average girl, a lot of guys want the approachable one. They don't want the hot one. They want the approachable one. That's been my experience. My hot friends get left on the side, and the guys come to me, but they're the prettier ones, and I'm the friendly one. So they're like, "Oh, she's nice." I don't know. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you can sit there, hang out with us, talk," and then I'm like, "Then I'm gonna go home. Bye." Somebody said there has to be a way to desexualize culture. Default question is about dating or romance. For some reason, it gets cut off right there under the heart. Um, Yeah, I can't really put it into words. I can't put it into words. All I can say is I remember when I really, really, really was interested in dating, trying to get married, looking for someone. I can remember when that was like a focus of mine. It is, I can tell you that it's just no longer a focus. I can't even, like, what's more important to me is when I get off the phone, I want to get back to like editing some videos and getting back to my list of things that I have to do. My brain is 100% on that and 100% not on. I don't think it's, I don't know, I can't put it into words, but there's, most women want to get married and most women want to date, and a lot of girls like would love like a good meal and all those things. There's so many girls who love those things. Target the people. That's one thing I will say. Somebody asked a question: if you don't want regrets, and what will you do different if you don't want regrets later in life, I would say this: always, this is one rule, this is a rule, this is a rule, y'all. Keep this rule and don't ever let go of it. My mom told me this a long time ago, and she is right. And my mom's been married forever. My mom's been married to my dad forever, and my mom picked a good one, number one, and she's been married forever. My mom's rule on dating is like the people who like you. Don't just like the people who like you. In other words, invest. I'll put it more clearly: invest in the people who are investing in you. That's the best way of putting it. I'm at this point, I'm not even investing in dating, period. I don't even like it. I don't like it. It's not my process. It's not for me. If I was to go out, I would rather go out with like my worldly friends, hang out for the night and go home. I would rather do that than go on a date, because I know exactly what I'm going to get. I know what to expect. And I know I could just be like, okay, that was fun, go home. And then I have to deal with it for like until I want to deal with it. I could just go home and that's it. To me, that's a good use of my time. That's a better use of my time than date this one, that one, this one, that one. Ugh. There's too many people. You know what dating sounds like in my head? It reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? You know how I get overstimulated with like music or noise or whatever? Sometimes I like, oh my god, I get overstimulated. Like I went on TikTok earlier today and somebody had music on and I got overstimulated and I was just like, ah. Dating reminds me of that. Immediately I feel overstimulated. I literally don't even want it. the last time, the last time, oh my God, this is so funny. This is the funniest thing. I went to dinner with my friends, a group of my friends, and some guy finds me, right? That happened. And so I'm being chatty because I'm with my friends. So my guard is a little bit down because I'm not like in single girl mode. I'm in group dynamic mode. So I was like not thinking that someone was like gonna hit on me because I'm with like a bunch of people. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's safe. I can just be free here, be safe. So the guy comes, he hits on me while I'm with my friends. And I didn't really get that he was hitting on me. I was just being friendly because I'm just being friendly. I didn't mean anything. And then by the end of it, he's like, oh yeah, yeah, we should like hang out again, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, as friends, yeah, cool, whatever. Kind of like trying to like weasel my way out of it. And he's like, no, 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 I don't mean like friends. I mean like a date. Like I want to ask you out on a date. And I was like, oh. It caught me off guard. I'm like, friendliness has got you in trouble again. I'm friendly, y'all. It doesn't mean anything. Is it that? I'm gonna get a t-shirt that says that. I'm friendly. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just friendly. I'm friendly because that's how I am. I like to laugh and goof and just then go home. That's it. It's it. It's simple. So yeah, like a date, we don't do those. Yeah. That literally was like, you should have seen the tap dance around that whole thing because I wasn't expecting it. So I was like, I was just tap dancing my way out of it. I was like, oh, like, oh yes, friends, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Like, make sure you know we're not doing anything. And he's like, oh no, no, I'm in a date. I was like, oh, I didn't mean that at all. But let's not get awkward because we're all at the same table here. It was It was awkward. It was awkward. Hey, I made it awkward. I made it awkward. It's fine. But you know what? It's just weird. At the end of the day, I already know, like, I'm the alien, so he doesn't understand that part of me. And like in that short interaction of me like chopping it up, I didn't chop it up, but I already know I'm an alien. So the fact that I'm an alien hasn't changed because I can make a lot of jokes. That's the same. I'm still the same alien, like antlers and stuff with the big old eyes. I'm still that same alien. I haven't changed just because I made a bunch of jokes. So I already know like that's gonna be a whole thing if I have to go down the whole route of like, oh, like these are my standards and this is my lifestyle. Like I don't feel like doing it. That might actually be it too. I don't feel the need to like go through those things. It's exhausting and I feel very like overstimulated because actually like I don't even want anything. So yeah, like when I was like looking to settle down and all that, maybe so. Now I'm kind of like I stopped thinking about it. And I don't want to have to work for it. I'm not doing any of it. I'm done. I'm done for a while. I'm on sabbatical. That's a good way of putting it. I'm on dating sabbatical. That's good because now I don't have to say that I quit or that I'm invested. I can just say I'm on dating sabbatical. That's pretty honest too. Wouldn't you guys agree? That's honest because I'm actually not actively doing any work for it. I'm doing probably at least half the month actively trying to not go out with people, trying to not present myself as interested in going on the dates. Actually, I actively 15 days out of the month, I am like trying to keep expectations low 15 days out of the month. And the other 15 days out of the month, I forget to do that and then like oops, and then I have to have the talk conversations. But I'm on a dating sabbatical. That's what I'm going to call it. That's as honest as I can be because I have to be honest. If something changes tomorrow, then maybe I'm not on a sabbatical anymore. But I'm on a sabbatical. I've been on it for a while. I've been on a dating sabbatical for easily a year. Easily a year on a sabbatical. I don't know when it's going to end. It may not ever. And what I've observed the last few weeks, what I've observed is just how much I get done that I've been needing to get done. How happy I am in getting my things done, and how I have less interest now. The more time that's passing, I have less interest now than I did in the past. So I'm not ramping up toward it. I'm like not. It's kind of like going. My interest in it is going lower, which I think is actually good because if God's removing the desire, then He could be removing the desire permanently. And I only had one other phase like this, and that was like around 2021, maybe 2022. I had a phase like this for a couple of years, and it lasted so long that I thought that like I legitimately thought the desire was 100% gone. So I literally was like, okay, oh wow, the desire is gone. That means I don't like since I got saved, I don't want it anymore. So it lasted for like 2 years. So I'm on like probably like year one of it of feeling like I'm on dating sabbatical. When I say sabbatical, meaning I'm not actively doing anything to make it change. And I'm actively avoiding it. Actually avoiding it to the extent that, like I said, the last time I was like in a group dynamic and somebody like slipped up and was like all of it was happening. I was so not in the mind frame of it that I was like, oh man, I hope that I wasn't like so warm and friendly that I led you on. I was thinking that in my head. And now I have to like, next time I do a group thing, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember if somebody from outside the circle comes up to the table, makes themselves friendly and sits down, I'm not going to be as chill about it like I was last time. Last time I was super chill about it. So I didn't, I could have let him on. Does that make sense? I'm acknowledging that for myself that I think guys will take the fact that I joke a lot and I'm friendly, because some girls are just, have RBF all the time, you know, you know what I'm saying? So because I was warm and friendly, he could have taken that as either I'm flirting or I'm interested. And I have to own that. So at the end of the day, I could have let him on by being warm and friendly, but I was just being nice. And inside of the dynamic of that circle, I actually I know those people, so I switched off the dating thing because I'm not those people I know. There's no dating happening between us. Half of them are married, half of them are single. The ones that are single are doing their thing. They're doing the most. Definitely not looking for me. And they know I live like this holy life. They're definitely not looking for me. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I think that's what happened. I think I had switched off in my little safe spot. I switched off and I was thinking the people that I'm around, these ones are married, these ones are wild. I'm not the ones that are married, obviously I'm not fooling with. The ones that are wild don't want me anyway. So it's not I'm safe here. I switched off and then I think I may have misled him by accident, not intentionally. I'll have to watch that in my head. Although I don't, part of me is like I don't want to have to change, but I also don't want to have another awkward moment. That's awkward. People are like, "So Hannah, are you gonna move forward here?" And I'm like, no. Anywho, all right, you guys got other questions? Let's see. And y'all don't do anything this is just my own life. Don't be doing what I'm doing. This is you have to live for yourself. Live for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with going on dates. It's fine. If you're in that season, go for it. If that season returns for me, I'll go for it. I'm not up for it. And dating is expensive. Y'all, it's expensive to date. You go on a proper date, that's not cheap. That's somebody's money. Somebody's working hard for that money. This economy is crazy. If I know in my head that I'm not on a path to anything, I don't want to have these people spending their money. That's so mean. That's just mean. It's mean and a total waste of my time. And I literally don't have that kind of time. Drive across town to sit for 3 hours for what? You're not marrying that guy? Leave him there. Leave him there. Get some of these things checked off your list. What are you guys in here talking about? Let's see. My good old TikTok. TikTok has been kind of steady tonight. It's been kind of steady in a good way. And then I've only had one troll in the TikTok, which is interesting. Mostly I have usually it's one person that just constantly spams the whole chat with crazy comments. But today was a very low, it's a low level troll night, which I also love it when they go crazy too. Go crazy sometimes. Let's see. All right, peeps. It's quiet. You guys have done it. We answered the questions. We went through the regrets. It was fun. Hey guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already, if you're over here, I want you to tap, tap, tap if you haven't already. Be sure you subscribe if you haven't. You know what you do on your platforms. You guys know the routine. We had fun. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already, be sure to get in those comments when we're done and say some things and subscribe if you haven't. Do that. Do all of that. I became a black mama. Okay. Didn't realize I could do that. It's new. That's new. New. Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. All right, guys. I'm trying to think, what am I going to do? What do I want to do now? Do I want to cut a video? Do I want to eat a snack? Then cut one video? I think I want to have a little snacky poo. Yes. Did I do the slavery talk on my, huh? I have done the slavery talk before. Why does that come to mind? Is it because people are saying stuff about black people in the chat? Are you talking about the slavery talk with like the slavery in the Bible talk? You talking about that one? Let me know. Let me know. You know what's funny about eating a sandwich? The biblical one. Yeah, yeah. Um, I haven't had a sandwich in a long, long time. I haven't had a sandwich since I lost all my weight. It's like one of the first things I got rid of was all that bread. It's one of the first things I got rid of. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to be steady state now and to be able to like eat, a little bit of what I want, but sandwiches are overrated. But you know what? When you put enough butter on them, they're the best. But yeah, I don't eat sandwiches anymore. I've not eaten a sandwich in a year. Just thought about that. So now that you say that, I want myself a Cuban sandwich. Just because you said that. No, I'm fine. I don't need a Cuban sandwich. I'm fine. I think slavery is too heavy for 1 a.m. That's too heavy of a topic for 1 a.m. That's too. I could do it. I could do that topic, but I want to do that topic when I'm fresh. Because right now, you're not gonna get my best on slavery. You're gonna get the least on that. You're gonna get the least. So we don't do stuff halfway. We go all in, or we don't do it at all. Let's see. All right, guys. All right, guys. All right, guys. Do I have little people? Yes, I have little people. I have a little person. I have a little person. Yes, I do. Yeah, that topic is not random. That topic is deep. The topic is deep. I need to kind of be like in my thinking. I need to have my thinking cap fully like situated. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get it wrong. It's just gonna like it's not gonna be the best topic when I'm like at the end of my stream, and I know I could use that same energy and cut 2 videos. So let the video editing begin. I'm gonna eat myself a snack first. Actually, I've decided I'm going to do both. Actually, it's 1:30. I should eat myself a snack and go to bed. I shouldn't cut a video tonight. Maybe I'll cut one. I'm not gonna cut no bunch of videos. I might if there's one that I can cut quickly. Because if it's already prepped, just pluck it out. Good night, guys. My lovely TikTokers hanging out. I think I taught people to sleep tonight. Tonight's been one of those nights. I gotta figure out my I'm gonna buy more lights, y'all. I think I'm just gonna invest in some more lights. I need to pay off some bills, and then I didn't want to buy these lights and then not pay off all these bunch of bills. I have some bills. So I'm gonna pay off these bills, and then I'm gonna buy my lights. I think I'll buy my lights next week. That's what I think. Because I would have gone live downstairs, but I need to either bring these lights with me or buy new lights. And I just decided I want to buy new lights. So I have this for my this is like my beauty room. This is in my podcast room. So I'm on my my lavalier mic in this room. But I have my proper mics downstairs, so I think I'm gonna buy more of those lights and then do that. That's my plan. Maybe in 2 weeks. It'll probably take me 2 weeks to get them. But I like them. They're good lights. And they change colors. And then I have one set downstairs and one set upstairs. Because I'm not gonna be moving these lights around. It took me a minute, I'm still gonna need to look at the video and see how did I set it up. Did I set up the lights good enough? Because I'm still optimizing this room. But I know that light behind me, I've got to move that. That is not going to work right there. It looks good? Awesome. Let's see. right, peeps. I'm actually just rambling. I'm just like y'all. I'm rambling and chilling. Okay, everybody, I'm hopping off. People, be beautiful. Be beautiful. And you know what I just realized? Yeah, I'm gonna need to optimize this a little bit better. I think I need to buy one more thing to put on. It's not a tripod, but it's one more mirror thing. I'm gonna buy that. I think I need to buy one more set of lights. And I would really love something to hold my Bible, something that holds my Bible open. If I could find that, that would be, if it was small and not bulky. I love technology, y'all. And also, these are the moments I'm glad I don't have a husband because I do. I don't. I'm not a ridiculous spender. But see, like stuff like this, somebody's husband's gonna be mad at them for doing that kind of stuff. Because I'd be like, I want to buy these two lights, and I want to buy these two holders, and I want to buy one more holder for my Bible. And then if I had a husband, he'd be looking at me like, girl, you about to spend all that money? Why are you about to spend all that money? Everything you have works. And I'm going to be like, because I want it to work better. And guess what? I don't have to ask anybody. I could just buy it all. Just like that. That being said, having husbands are good. So if you have one, keep one. Okay? That's it. Bye, everybody. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, y'all.